Okay, thankfully there's no viewers. Just play a song till some people come over. Late night, street lights, your name comes back. Sometimes no reason, just like that. I thought time would set me free, but you still happen to me. You still happen to me. Every song, every street, you still happen to me. Old photos, old feelings, new scars, same meaning. I move on, you follow like a dream. I thought years would let me leave, but you still happen to me. You still happen to me. Every face, every city, you still happen to me. Maybe love never leaves. Maybe love changes shape. Maybe we're just memories learning how to stay. You still happen to me. You still happen to me. Even now, even here, you still happen to me. You still happen to me. You still happen to me. Welcome.
Howdy. You hear me?
Howdy.
Yep, sure can. That was, it was Wild Heart, but it's getting old. It's getting long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Used to think it was funny and stuff, or silly, or I don't know, fun to be around, but now it's just depressing as fuck, and it makes me frustrated as well, because it's not even like dealing with a child. Children learn. Like, they love soaking in information. That dude's just like talking to bricks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's frustrating when no matter how much like genuine interest you have in his well-being, like he just
Yeah.
like basically like makes a funny face and dances around the room with his thumbs in his ears, and thumbing his nose
Yeah.
at you and just mocking by his actions. Just
Yep.
Mhm.
And
let's get old.
he wants to do it publicly. Anyone who, not that anyone has said anything for a long time, but to anyone who has ever thought, oh, you're just mean, like picking on a person that's suffering and shit. Like, I I don't agree at all because I never did it at first. Like, I gave him so much of my um, being and psyche and my care and stress and all that shit. And it was genuine. But I did get to a point where I was like, well, I it's not that I don't care because I'm a human and I hate any human suffering, but um, I'm certainly not going to have great sympathy and empathy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even feel the need to defend it really, but
I think we've all gone through that internally, what you're describing, just the disappointment and feeling like you're pouring something down a drain.
The
yes,
lost
yeah,
cause. Why waste the time on a lost cause?
Right.
It's just watch it rust in the yard now.
Yep.
and I've always like called out or not called out, but always spoke against banging your head against a brick wall for no reason, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but I kind of keep doing it with him for some reason.
Well, Sammy, there's a case for it and a case against it. I mean, some would say to spend time with Wildheart would be codependent and enable him in his self destructive behavior. But some would say it's better than nothing, that maybe there's some words or maybe a joke or something that could be said or done that would assist Wildheart out of his
That
plight.
might get through.
Yeah, out of his plight
Yeah.
of misery. And yes, it's a both both uh, both cases have their merits, you know.
Yeah.
And don't we, as wannabe psychotherapists, don't we just risk it? We risk it. Why? In hope that
Yeah.
would help Wildheart out of his season of PTSD or anger. Who knows why? Only God. But
And I
we,
think that's a beautiful sentiment, actually, Tommy.
it's
And
true.
um, like I want to always think, we are innately good creatures. So it is the better than nothing option to me. Like, um, I just had to learn to draw boundaries for myself, and like when I start to find myself getting upset, and I know how pointless that is. Well, then I have to leave. It's not on him anymore. It's on me now. Uh, so he teaches me a lot without realizing it about patience and
About your right hemisphere arguing with your left
left.
hemisphere. And
Yeah,
What you will and won't tolerate in a person.
yeah. And g'day, Mac. Mac's out there.
No.
Even though he's broken, we can love him a little, even if we can't glue him back together.
I have to come to the conclusion that Wildheart is on some level enjoying his suffering because it serves him on a lot of different levels. It gets him a lot of attention. It gets him people taking care of him. It gets him people doting and asking after him and making sure he doesn't fall and smash his face on things. He gets a lot out of it. And even though he's an addict, like I think he wants to stay an addict because not only is it like, I know it's not fun for him, but the intoxicated state is something that he's so used to. I don't think he can imagine himself any other way. And it creates all this other reality for him that
Yeah.
lets him stay in the state that he's in, which is totally non-responsible and basically non-functional.
And I think that might be why I started reacting the way I do, and because I don't want him to have a positive reaction. Like, I'm not going to give him a positive feedback. So when he does his silly thing, I'm going to make him feel silly. And that's what really happened there at the end. Was like, I started saying, what's the reason you don't like your stepdad? It's because he took your mum away, right?
That's a really good
Made
point.
him start. And it is. It because I've asked him many, many times, what has he ever done? And he cannot tell me. Oh, nothing really. Just he's a scouser. Look. And I've heard his stepdad on the phone, and he is so nice to Wild Heart.
He's done him a
So
lot of
nice.
favors, you know, like
Yeah.
helped be like a replacement, a real actual replacement dad for him. But
But he is the one person telling Wild Heart's mum,
you gotta stop.
you need to
right?
cut the strings. Yeah. And Wild Heart cannot fucking stand that. How dare you tell my mum to stop doting on me? And so, of course, if I try and mention that, I get it. He doesn't want to deal with it. I knew he wouldn't, but it's like karaoke time. It's like, well, stop being public with your bullshit. You want to be public, but now that I've stopped giggling and just like holding a mirror up, you don't want to talk about it anymore. Then why are you still doing it on fucking YouTube?
Yeah.
Why are you watching it, letting us watch you do drug deals and all your bullshit?
Oh, I know. Like that day, like check this out. You know that day that like the drug dealers were at his house and stuff?
Yeah.
And like that girl took over his computer for like a little while and he was gone for and I you know, and like later on, or I don't know if it was like they were there earlier that I didn't see that one. And then his mom came and then they were there again, or his mom came after both times they were there. I forget which, but like I'm sure this is no secret now, but like, you know, when he was basically like cowering against this guy's voice, you know, like away from it, because this guy was ordering him to have a taxi and the girl was saying something. And I was thinking, these people are going to set up shop in his house and they've already like taken over like a certain amount, you know, like they're going to keep pushing their way in. Like I wrote like a little like letter thing, like not a letter, but like a note to the reporting thing and the police, you know, for his area. And I said, hey, can you just check on this guy? You know, there's some drug dealers at his house. I think they're intimidating him. He's vulnerable because he's drunk all the time, and you know, they may be taking advantage of him. They may end up hurting him. They've already stolen from him. And that was before I found out that they had stolen not those people, but another drug dealer, $300 from him, like the day before or a couple days before that. And his mom, when she came over, she's like, "You gotta call the police." And he's like, "No, no, no." And I was thinking, fuck it, man. Like, why are these two people even not thinking about not calling the police about this? Why are they being so squishy about this? You know?
Why is she letting this drunk ass
Make
decide whether? Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck it. If you guys can't fucking decide, I'm going to decide for you. I'm going to fucking call the police. I didn't say that, but I'm like, they need to do a welfare check on this, you know? And now he's like happy that the cops are coming by every day and checking on him.
Yeah.
And it's keeping those people away, I suspect, if they're visible at all. So it's like
it is current, Mac. It was like the last couple days, but it's stopped now. They haven't been back since, but it's pretty current. Yeah. Sorry, go.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I guess Wildheart gave him $30 for some drugs, and the guy picked his phone up again and went back into the app and sent himself $300 from his account. 300 more. Yeah.
Pounds too. So let's do the.
Yeah, and that's like half. You know, he gets like 8 months, so that's like almost half of what he got, like for 1 month. And he was just going to let it slide because he was scared of them. It's like, okay, if you let it slide, you know it's going to keep happening. You know,
Holy shit! I didn't know you said were that different house.
what do you mean?
£300 sterling is fucking 400 US.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow! Look at the chart. It's really June. Something big happened. June
What,
17.
what,
Um,
what are you talking about?
like the um,
Oh, you mean like the exchange rate? Something happened?
yeah.
Yeah, I think gold and silver both dropped in the U.S. in the past week.
It was the gold dropped. Okay.
I don't know why. Like I don't know what makes it drop. I've heard all my life, oh, it's one of the most stable things you can always, invest in. You can always count on gold, like keeping its worth. And it's like, okay, so why does it drop, and does it always come back? Because I have no idea. I have
But
not
it's
followed.
400 US, bro. So they still $400. If you want to say
$400,
dollars.
£300,
Yeah.
but like he gets 800, every month, and that's just
Holy
like,
shit.
yeah. So it was almost half, of what he gets every month. That the guy was just like, he saw vulnerability, and Wildheart is not a friend; he's a target to
Yeah.
someone like that. That's all he is,
That's $575 bucks.
Australian.
Yeah. As we like to now call them since the Bluey show. That little cartoon for kids that went around the world.
Oh, right.
Do you know our government, I have one, released an actual minted dollar coin with Bluey on it.
Oh, wow.
Bluey characters to like celebrate what a success, like an Australian success it was, around the world and stuff. Imagine that they were just two dudes, like, started out small and had to go to all sorts of different places to convince them to give this kids show a chance. And look at it now. It's overtaken Peppa Pig. Yes.
Things are important in your country?
No, I don't know. To me, it is.
Okay. I've heard of Peppa Pig. I'd never understood what it was all about. I don't know anything about its popularity.
So,
Like that.
American, UK, European, Australian, Asian, doesn't matter. Peppa Pig took over the fucking world, okay? And the problem I had with it was that she was always making fun of the dad, calling him fat and lazy. In fact, the mum was doing it too. Like, it was always, the dad was fat and lazy and stupid, and the mum was always the smart one, and it was all very be quiet, daddy, sort of thing. Crazy shit. Lots of people used to protest about it because it was so popular. I wasn't going to protest, but I certainly didn't like the show. But then when I found out that an Australian show that really emphasizes our Aussie attitude and our values and our silly language and all of that
Mhm.
got so big that it overtook this shit thing that I can't stand. Yeah, it was a bit of a big deal for me, I'll admit it.
I've seen a show, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. Let me see if I can look it up. It's like, okay, maybe you know it. It might be famous in Australia. It may not be. I don't know. But it's an Australian show. It's about these like three women that are like police or detectives, I think, and they're like out in like some swampy area, and they start investigating these murders that someone tried to make look like a crocodile did it.
I saw trailers for that and thought that looks pretty decent, but I've never got around to actually watching it.
Okay, it was like a more of a comedy than anything else, but it was also like a, you know, like drama
Murder
mystery,
mystery thing as
a
well.
cop
Yeah,
solving
yeah.
problems show. But I was wondering as I was watching it, you know, like, is this like a true representation of Australians? Because like the characters are like, I don't know if I would call
Over the
them
top.
rude. They're really fucking loud and brash and no frills as far as
Oh,
how they speak to each other and stuff, and like just how they
so
are.
we would say they're full yobbo.
Yabo?
Yes,
Okay.
YOBBO,
Yabo.
and it means the roughest, Aussiest. Like, yeah, most Aussies aren't like, don't really want to. Internally, we don't want to be yobbos, but if you call us a yobbo from outside, we're kind of proud of it. It's weird, but to me, if I say, "Oh, you fucking yobbo," it's like I'm saying you're
Deadlock. That's
unemployed, you're
deadlock.
rough, you talk like really rude with lots of cussing, you're obnoxious.
I mean, they you know they're good, right? Like their characters are good and sharp and on the ball and everything,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're
I'm not saying they're bad
very
people.
rough and
This
I
is
guess
just a yobbo
coarse,
thing.
you
Yeah,
know. And it's just
exactly.
and funny as hell, right? Like big personalities, big sense of humor, big drama in their lives, you know, like just
Yeah.
everything's big. And I just wondered, like, every character in this show, except for like the intentionally quiet couple of characters, are like this other, like really outgoing,
Yeah.
like super extroverted kind of. And what is that
If
like?
you get out of the city house,
Mhm.
absolutely, that is not exaggerated. One day, what I might do is go live or like walk around my little street here,
Cool.
go to the
That'd be
local
awesome.
pubs,
Yeah.
and just talk to some of the locals. Now, you will not understand a word any of them say. I'm just warning you now.
I forget
That's
where
how
it's from.
Australian the shit is. But
I forget where it's streaming over here, but yeah, I watched like I don't know 8 or so episodes, and I'll probably go back to it at some point. But yeah, funny show.
I'll have to check it out. I
Yeah.
remember being interested by the trailer.
Mm.
But yeah, it just went on the list with all the things that I want to watch that I want to.
Okay, over here it's on Amazon Prime. I don't know where it would be on your side of things, but
Same here. Amazon probably.
okay.
Although if it aired on ABC, we'd get it for free on ABC. I'll check it out. I think it was on ABC too,
Hmm.
which means you can all get it for free.
Yeah, I think it is free on Amazon. It's not
Oh,
like
it's
something
free,
you have
is
to
it?
rent or
Okay.
buy or anything. At least not right now, you know.
I just
Yeah,
I
but
know every
you'd
time I
probably
go
enjoy
on
it.
Amazon, like I'm subscribed and stuff. When I go on, I still have to pay for shit. It's like what?
Oh, I
Amazon's
know. I hate that. Like
yeah.
like practically, like what, like at least half or more than half of the things I
Yeah.
want to watch have the little like yellow symbol that means you got to pay or sign up for something else or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should watch like a couple episodes and just like see what you think.
Yeah,
Is,
I think
definitely.
you'd enjoy it.
is Wildheart in crisis? Is he in a crisis?
Aren't
Always,
we
all
all?
time.
Is he ever not in
No,
crisis?
he is always in crisis mode. Um, I don't think he's in a worse crisis than normal, if that's what you're asking.
Is is he still in crisis when he's asleep? Because you know I've been in crisis since puberty,
Only
but
if he has like a heart attack in his sleep or something, I would think.
except
Yeah.
you know when I'm sleeping I'm not in crisis. You know.
Well, I've watched him sleep, and it doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't like
it's
not a
like
proper sleep. He's in and out of
now,
consciousness.
you know.
Yeah.
Is he comfortable in his own skin
No.
God, no.
when he wears his favorite tie-dye t-shirt?
No.
Uh,
Never at any point has he ever been comfortable as himself, even though he likes to portray that he loves himself. He absolutely loathes him. He loathes, yeah.
he loathes
He,
himself for sure. He doesn't. I mean, yeah, I think he does put on maybe a false front about thinking
about
he's
that loathing.
great or
Yeah, he
smart.
thinks we don't know he loathes himself. I'll
So
put it that way.
Wildheart has an aggravated self-loathing habit. He just runs
Yeah.
through, you know, same
Yeah.
same thoughts, same emotion
Loop.
cycle.
Think about the
Loop.
effort it
Loop.
takes to actually love yourself, and not just because you're thinking nice thoughts about yourself, but to be in action of loving yourself. Like, it takes effort and it takes focus and
A new set of batteries.
but you know what I mean? Like, this is so much easier as a default position of just thinking you're a piece of shit and then proving it to yourself over and over again.
All right. Well,
yeah, but what does Wildheart have? I mean, there's things he could look at, but if he's not doing something productive, giving himself a reward system, what does he have to look back on when sometimes it looks like the majority of his life is a piece of shit?
Dude, he's got a free apartment. He's got a place that isn't totally like terrible to live. He's got free groceries. He's got, internet that, I mean, maybe not free groceries, but internet that's paid for. He's got, 800 pounds a month that he could spend productively. He's got like 12 hours a day of free time. Who would
Right.
love to have those things to work with,
Yeah, I mean, those are like but that free time, what is he doing with that free time? That's
the other
what's
thing.
doing it to him.
Nothing.
I don't get to talk about it often because there's either like Serb or Hillary's or even Will, and they get triggered and like, freedom and shit. But
well,
Australia,
I
right?
can see it in that way
what I'm gonna
because
say.
I can see it in that way because people have to do things to get the things that he gets for free. People have to work long hours. They have to do things they don't want to do to get this. So he gets it automatically. So he takes that for granted, David Grant.
Yes,
so he takes that for granted. So there's nothing there for self-respect along those lines of achieving the means of living. There's no achievement to himself for that. So, and then what people usually do that do achieve that, they can't do anything else. They take something else on, take an instrument, they'll build model ships because they want to keep a reward system. He never really has that self-reward system. Being humans, we just can't meditate ourselves into feeling good about something when we didn't do something good.
I think the streaming exchanges are like a very weak sort of reward system for him, and not a constructive one.
Could it be proved? Could the internet and those who participate, local leaders, local lay psychotherapists, could they team up, and could the internet deliver to Wildheart a more meaningful afternoon?
No.
I want to chime in, and I want to say I figured out. I know the only solution for Wildheart, other than watching him slowly die, is we would have to crowdfund, or actually, he might be able to pay for it if he can't convince a doctor to prescribe it. Because my point was, everything in England and Australia is free, right? Everything. Even all the social supports and shit, you just don't have it, all that. It's all free. He needs electroshock therapy. They need to zap his brain to the point where he forgot he even drinks alcohol. I think that is his only solution.
Yeah.
And you made me think of it, Tommy, because you said replace the batteries or something. I was like, oh, hang on. You're right. He needs to restart that fucking brain somehow. Maybe a keto diet. The one that shocks your brain and thinks you're dying.
I always thought that it would be best if Wildheart got like sort of almost like kidnapped and taken somewhere where there's no internet and there's no familiar apartment and there's no mom, and he'd have to do like, you know, some kind of physical work for a few hours a day, and, you know, just completely change his response to things by forcing it, essentially, because
Yeah.
it's not, I don't think it's going to happen any other way, and just kind of wash out like the present patterns, just annihilate them, you know.
Yes.
You know, those ideas are a lot better than my idea, and I thought about it a lot too. I even took I wrote it down. Hold on a sec. It's right here. Here it is. Here it is. Punch him in the fucking face. Wait a second. There's a footnote. Hold on. Repeatedly.
More than a few people have said openly that they want to just kick his fucking ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
I'm talking
I
about,
do.
like, you know, through like maybe some less impactful, you know, ways. Like,
No, like
make
I
him-
will literally just keep booting his ass, like
right.
bang.
Well,
and
we
he
were
can
like,
get up
talking
and
last night. And
bang. So
heard that.
I'm not hurting him really, but
Yeah.
just kicking his ass.
Did you hear that whole conversation last night about how he should find himself someone that basically kind of like wants to like, you know, like he could be like the
Take care of a retard.
the submissive like slave, and someone could sort of take out their, you know, like punish him and stuff, and it'd be like a woman, right? So he could have like that angle, but he'd also just be like having somebody boss the shit out of him around, you know, like,
well, it's funny. I think it was Serb was in the hangout
yeah,
when he said, "That's it." You know, he needs a dominatrix, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "You imagine." I said, "You imagine his mother in a black latex stretched outfit," and then right then, Wildheart says, "Yeah," and I said,
oh my god,
and he didn't know we're talking. I guess he didn't catch up about his mother, but it's funny thinking that, right? So, you know, we're talking about your mother here.
that's too funny.
Yeah.
I was joking. I said, Wildheart, with the way that, you know, you're like, because everyone's like, don't be a doormat. I'm like, or be a professional one. Go get yourself a collar, you know, and like invite it into your life instead of just letting it be like something that happens to you.
You know what? With his moves and his pot belly form, and I could see him in like a leather vest, right? With a leather biker hat.
God.
Right? Like just like stand outside
Like,
a club,
doing
waiting for
this
somebody to
to
grab
me.
his sleeve.
We should have a picture of Wildheart that way.
Please, Fee.
Well, I hope you guys aren't discouraged, because I believe that each one of your input into Wildheart's life kind of makes an hour more meaningful. And
I know.
you know, it could happen. Wildheart could heal up from something, or you know.
I guess I need you, Tommy, around constantly to just keep reminding me of that, because
It
I
helps.
keep forgetting and I keep getting angry at him.
We do help. Yeah, of course. So many truths, you know, conundrums, and but thank God Hillary's here. Hey, Hillary.
I know.
Hello.
Thank
Yo,
God, Hillary's.
I mean,
How
in
you all
the
today?
pretty good, you know, just gossiping and talking shit about Wildheart.
Yeah, this is full gossip at this stage.
This is an informal intervention. Prayer.
I mean, do you guys remember like a couple of years ago when like basically everybody just left him, like for like a
Yes.
couple weeks? Nobody would go to his streams or anything for the express reason of like not supporting his whole thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'll be good, and he like basically like got sober, like at least somewhat sober, and was like trying to comply because the people that he wanted around told him, look, we're not going to put up with this bullshit, shape up or ship out kind of thing. And you know, but he didn't take it seriously until people actually left.
Yep. And you know what I noticed the problem was, House? Certain people that aren't necessarily in our little community,
Right,
but somewhat in their community,
never
were
stopped.
still there. Yeah. wiping his little bum, and
Did
so
not,
it didn't work. It had to be like across the board.
yeah.
So unfortunately,
Does the King of England have a bum wiper? Royal bum wiper these days?
Or
I imagine so.
I would.
Probably
Yeah.
has
Happy
to say-
420. I'm gonna smoke a bong. Yeah, I would if I was a king. Fuck yeah. Cause like, are you sure it's clean?
Could you look a little closer? Could you give
Yeah.
a sniff?
Give it a sniff and make sure it's clean. Give it the sniff
It's
test.
pungently clean, sire.
You be.
Well, we had a president that was
Memphis?
very proud when he wiped his own.
Who was that? Who did?
Joe Biden. I wiped my butt.
Oh, Joe. Well done, Joe.
That was a scary time.
Yeah.
A
Now, can you
scary
get back to
time,
running
man.
the country?
I mean, some guys don't. Maybe he was just letting everyone know that he wasn't one of those guys. You know?
When George G.W. Bush made a speech, folks said it was like watching a drunk cross a icy street. But Biden, man, watching Biden give a speech was terror. As an American, I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
who's running?"
Well, it was kind of like watching like an old man, like grandpa, about to fall down the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a non-American, I was having secondhand embarrassment. Trust me.
Now, rumor holds that it was actually Biden's cabinet and Biden's cabinet's friends that ran the show, along with Jill and Hunter. Let's not forget them. Does that about? Were you aware of that, Hillary?
That was my understanding. Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that understanding.
Crazy shit, man. They did crazy.
I don't think that Hunter was at any point in control of anything at the White House.
No,
He was
But
in control of the
we
cocaine
know of.
supply.
He had sway, though. He had sway.
Maybe.
Well,
You know,
wasn't he doing like back
Like,
like
he was
backdoor
running. He was
business
running amok.
deals?
basically.
Because of his father.
Dumbass leaves his cocaine in the fucking.
that could have been any of those people in Congress, man.
Oh yeah.
I would like, if they're going to have people in certain positions have to have mandatory drug tests with the benefits and money that they get, they should absolutely have to be mandatory random tested.
You could tell it wasn't Hunter's. He was like,
Or legalize it.
I'd never leave my cocaine in the fucking White House. Fuck.
Yeah, no, that cunt's not leaving it. He's like, he does the keys, phone, cocaine, wallet. Like, that's his check when he
Yeah,
leaves somewhere.
People that are experienced with drugs don't lose their drugs. They
Now,
take good care of them.
Now, he left his computer with all kinds of really nasty stuff on it at a computer repair place and just totally forgot about it. So why wouldn't he do that when he was high?
That's
Could you
true. Yeah,
He
they
didn't
are
spend
high
time
house,
at the
so
White
maybe.
House. He wasn't living at the White House.
Well, he wasn't living at the computer repair shop.
Hillary's.
I've been around drug
Where
addicts.
where did he spend time? He didn't spend time at the White House.
I don't know what that has to
He
do
was
with him
hanging out
being
there
high.
going on
Coke
bend.
was found at the White House, right? So you would assume that whoever left it there was someone who worked there or spent time there, or not the White House, but
I
it
thought
was
he
one of
left
the-
8 hours. I thought he left 8 hours before it was found. He wasn't there.
And I wonder how Trump feels being so outspokenly sober. Like, doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, never did any of it. Just likes to diddle kiddies. But
That's a
I
false
wonder-
charge against our president.
Apparently,
yes,
he has a
I'm
nipple.
allowed. I'm
Charge, and I
sure.
resent it as an American.
Uh,
Stand up,
okay, I
brave,
take
That
back-
Trump
I
can
take
be a
it back.
pedo.
brave young man.
I take it back.
No good. Thank you.
Goodness.
Thank you.
Technically, he's an amoebophile.
I bow
Yeah,
to your
and-
humility.
And
I bow.
he's not been convicted of anything of that sort. So, yes.
You were just joking.
Has
I realize
anyone from the
I was.
Epstein files been convicted of anything?
No, that's the
few.
Except
point.
for on Britain's side?
Oh, Andrew. yeah.
Jeffrey and Ghislaine. I think that's about
Oh,
it.
Jeff and Jizz. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's. I
Jeff
mean,
Lane.
Jeff and Jizz.
I like that name.
We definitely got to call him Jeff and Jizz now.
charges were so light compared to the reality of what all she actually did.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, and like, why aren't they just fucking, human rights? Fuck off all that shit. Waterboard that bitch. Fucking hold her down, torture her, get the information out of her, then take her at the back of the courthouse and fucking put a bullet in the back of her head.
Tell her she's never,
done with it.
ever
That's
getting a
justice.
pardon.
Yeah.
Tell her that's not
No
even
matter
at
what.
all ever
Exactly.
possible. Yeah.
Best you can do is like for starters, she should be in fucking like max security, no privileges, all that shit.
No cush at all.
Yeah, because what leverage do they have to bribe anything out of her? At this point, they have to just let her go. It's the only thing. Like, she's already patting puppies and fucking whatever they're going about that she does, because she's not really in a proper prison.
Supposedly, she has a fair number of people who basically look to her for like guidance and advice and stuff. Like, she's like a leader of like in her little sect of prison, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
That means all that means though is she's got a lot of charisma, which I don't doubt, because that's what it takes to do the kinds of things they were doing.
Yeah.
Hey Hillary, did you see that UFC fight?
I did.
The White House. Did you see those motorcycles doing the flips and shit?
The what?
They had motorcycles before.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, man, they had motorcycles, motocross, and they had 6 to 8 of them out there doing flips on big ramps and stuff. It was a spectacle.
Huh.
Were they playing Kid Rock at the time?
I'm not sure.
Milli Vanilli.
You had to subscribe to Paramount Plus in order to get the live feed. Yeah.
Milli Vanilli to Motocross.
I actually
Yes, man.
can't see why anyone would have a problem with any of what they did, because that was just Trump's birthday. The one thing I would probably say might be an argument is, why the fuck do you do it on the White House lawn?
Right.
That's like kind of meant to be for official stuff, like isn't it? But
I mean, UFC
whatever.
funded like a majority of that. They could have just said, "Hey, come to our arena and we will deck the place out."
Do it at Mar-a-Lago. Do it at fucking
there, yeah.
Like anywhere. You didn't have to, but that's Trump. He had to flex. That's the only thing I can say. I don't care. He had fighting.
Yeah.
If that's the celebration that he does,
States, man, having motorcycles on the front lawn.
You'll never have the power or the influence or the wealth. You'll never have the power, influence, or wealth that he has. But why do you admire it so much in him when he would rather take it away from you than have you have it? Because he said in the past that he doesn't like it when people are successful. He surrounds himself with people that are not successful so that he can feel better. He said it flat out.
Yeah, Tommy.
Well, so what? People say a lot of shit,
What if that's true? Like, what if he honestly always wants to be the one on top?
One fucking fat joke and he's a weirdo. It's like,
Tommy, fuck off.
Oh, it's not one fat joke.
It's nothing to do with anything.
It's pretty much
talking shit out. I will get under your skin politically. It's part of being a Theo comedian.
Paramount owns the rights to the UFC broadcast, so it was Paramount thing.
The broadcast part, yeah. And I don't know. I have my own interpretation about why they did it at the White House. I think it was a huge flex because it was during the Iran thing, and we were saying that we're like the gladiatorial games. It's just like ancient Rome.
Yeah.
And other people have other ideas of why it happened.
Yeah.
Do you endorse it, Hillary?
I think it was very effective.
At what?
At showing the world that we're ready for blood sport, that if they want to bring it, we're more than happy to join.
Who would be the fighters in that scenario?
Anybody who stands up against the
Like-
U.S., the
No,
world
I mean, on the U.S.
super
side,
heavyweight.
or the fighters.
What's that?
The people that are willing to saw people's heads off and stuff because they think the West is soft and they can just get away with that shit.
No, I
And-
mean, who are we committing for the U.S. to be the ones that are ready
Oh,
for it?
the soldiers, you mean? The military?
I suppose that would be it, but you know, it seems like sort of I don't know how to say it. I don't know what word to describe it when you volunteer someone else to do your shitty fucking deeds.
Yeah.
Okay, but what happened? They invited a whole bunch of UFC fighters, and only some of them actually showed up. So it is kind of a halfway semi-volunteer.
Oh, I thought you meant like in a bigger sense of we're ready for blood sport. I thought you meant like in the world arena of war and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was going to answer, but I wasn't sure if this is what you meant, was the U.S. taxpayer are the ones that are ultimately funding it.
Well, it was claimed to have been funded mostly by UFC as far as like.
No, I mean the war.
Oh,
I mean, in future, the war that we get into, it's going to be the U.S. taxpayer that's going to be fighting.
Right, but I wonder how many people, you know, because a lot of people say, "Well, I don't want to pay for this or that with taxes.
Right.
You know, I don't want to pay for public school. I don't want to pay for disability stuff. I don't want to pay for welfare. I don't want to pay for this, that, and the other." So if we had a checklist when we filed our taxes of what we wanted to support or not, and people could, and it would actually be the way that it was, that we could opt out of paying for certain things, I imagine there would be, you know, tens or hundreds even of millions of people that would not choose to fund the military.
Would you rather pay for things with U.S. dollars or with Indian rupees?
What does that have to do with people not wanting to pay for the military?
Because if we weren't the dominant force in the world, then the U.S. dollar wouldn't be worth very much. And then when you'd be going to shop, you'd either be paying with Chinese renminbi or Indian rupees.
It's worth like less and less every day.
Yeah, but it would be worthless, totally worthless, if we weren't the dominant military in the world. So when we look at all these things, you're saying, would the American taxpayer be willing to pay for it? No, that's how come the American taxpayer isn't allowed to vote in Congress. We have a representative democracy, and the people who understand these sorts of things are the ones that are deciding whether or not we go to war.
Right, and couldn't we say the same thing about social programs?
I want to ask you the question, Hillary's just a simple question. You can answer it however you choose. How much choice or control or sway does the average taxpayer actually have?
I'm going to answer your question first. Almost none.
Yeah.
Almost none whatsoever. And then I'm going to answer Halsey's. You asked about the social programs. Well, when Biden sent everyone in America, whether you were here legally or illegally, a $600 stimulus check, would you have taken that check if you knew that 5 years later everything was going to cost twice as much because as a result of the profligate, paper printing?
I don't know what you're saying a connection is. You're saying that we're in the position that we are right now because Biden sent stimulus checks out?
I'm saying that you asked about opting in or out of social programs, and it's the same way with war.
It's not a Biden thing.
Program.
It's like I said, I didn't name a name when I was talking about people.
No, it's not about that, Hal. Saying if they gave you a stimmy check, would you, on principle, not take it, knowing that stimmy check was going to make things cost more for you in 6 or 12 months down the line? But hey, you got a stimmy check in the meantime.
And it is even
about that. Did they say anyone? Did they say it?
I'm sorry. That proposition you said is kind of a conundrum, because if you know the future of your check of $5,000 versus, so you must know the futures of everything played out. So I would say, in a way, you could play the markets with that 5,000 to topple it if you know that much in the future.
Right, but it isn't just whether Halsey gets the check; it's everyone in America. And so, could I opt out of everyone in America getting their stimulus check? So that's the real issue. I can't make that control. I would if I could. I would absolutely tell everybody, hey, this is a horrible idea to send $600 checks, because in 2 years or in 5 years, prices are going to skyrocket. And then now all of a sudden people are going to forget, oh, this is the actual reason why the prices have gone up.
I don't think that
has a trickle down effect. What's that?
I don't think that would be like a direct correlation, because Like
It
the
doesn't have to be
government,
direct. Why do you add things that I'm not saying?
because you're saying that one thing would directly impact another.
No, I'm saying one thing would eventually lead to another.
I mean, wouldn't all of the excess spending that the government
Yes.
does lead to that? No matter
Absolutely.
what it's on?
Every single dime, yes.
Well, then that, we could argue about anything that they overpay for.
Yes, absolutely, we should.
I don't know what kind of good that's going to do, because, as much as we argue about it and we're concerned about it, and even if we vote for or against it, I feel like they're still going to do what they do. And
So
we
what
have
I'm hearing,
very little control over what they do with our money.
so what I'm hearing is 20 trillion here, 20 trillion there. Eventually, we're going to be talking about real money.
I don't know what you mean.
That is an old saying from the 80s that only back then it was billions. That when it comes to the government, everything is a huge number. And everybody says, well, it's only a drop in the bucket when it comes to the total federal budget. But every drop in the bucket adds up until you have more buckets. So you're not willing to talk about social welfare programs, but you are willing to talk about military spending when the two go hand in hand. If it wasn't for the military, we wouldn't have any social spending.
I guess, but I'm not a student of economics.
Mhm.
And so I don't know exactly how things all work together, and who, we right now, I don't think that we have a proper accounting of all of the money that they've supposedly saved through all of the cuts and all that stuff that they've done, and where it went and how it's going to benefit us for all these things to be cut. And supposedly we're gonna save, or things will get better. I'm not sure exactly what the benefit is for the average American citizen.
Okay, well, you said several things there. You said several things. The truth is, even the government doesn't know where all the money goes. That's why all this money disappears in the black budget.
All I care about is who's pocketing it, and I know that there are some people that are. There has to be.
Well, we can guess who probably gets some of it. I mean, there's been an awful lot exposed about Minnesota and the daycares that don't have any kids in them, or the homeless shelters in California.
None of the
homeless shelter, right?
None of the Congress people, none of our politicians should be going into their jobs worth maybe 1 or 2 million, and 2 years later, 3 years later, be worth 50 million, 100 million.
Okay,
that should not happen.
So you care about the one person in Congress that's making money. You don't care about the million people back in their state that are making money off of it, because
the corruption
you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Layers.
Right. You're doing a really good job of talking, but not a great job of listening. You ask me a question, then when I explain, you talk over me.
Focused on Minnesota and California.
No, I'm talking about everyone other than Congress. The one congressperson makes money, but the only reason they're able to make money is because they make money for 1 million people back in their state. Regardless of which state it is. But we know for a fact that the daycares in Minnesota that don't have any kids are making tons and tons of money, and the Congress is getting one tiny little sliver of all that fraud. Same thing in California. They got tons of homeless shelters that don't have any homeless in them, but yet, well, who's getting all these contracts? Well, Karen Bass has somebody that she did the no bid contract with, but she actually passed a law through the city council that prohibits them from ever telling anybody who did that flip.
I'd like to know about all the corruption in all states and that we don't hear about. There's some that are highlighted because people want to make certain groups look bad.
And I was answering that until you decided to talk instead of listening to my answer. What I'm saying is that you will never know all of the corruption because that's baked into the whole system. That there are tons of black budgets that we'll never know. So all we can do is the best that we can do. But if you're not willing to look at any of it and saying, no, I don't want to look at all this fraud. I just want to look at this one little tiny, pebble of sand over here.
No, it's not one tiny pebble of sand. It's like loads of people, not just 2 or 3 people.
Okay, but we're talking across purposes, because what I'm saying is here's a whole sandcastle full of sand, and you say, well, I only care about the war spending. That's the one pot of sand that I care about. And I'm going to say, well, we have war spending, and yes, there's way too much of that. But we can also look, but we'll never know about that because they're secret contracts. But there are public contracts about the social welfare spending. Can we maybe look at a little bit of that? And you say, nope, I'm not interested in that. I only care about the war spending. Well, we know that.
I said that some people are not wanting to fund things like Medicare or programs for disability, or
Right.
things like that. Like they don't want to, but they still probably benefit from it at some point in their lives, because everybody gets old and everyone ends up on Medicare. Even though
Great point.
they bitch about it at one point in their lives, they depend on it later. They depend on Social Security.
Well, but it should be that way. Should we break people's hands and cripple their feet so that they have to depend on Social Security? When if
why
they
would
would
you
have,
ask that question?
because if they could have been allowed to have private retirement plans, then they wouldn't have had to depend on a Social Security program that's always been a Ponzi scheme.
How many people do you know that are wealthy enough to have that do not depend at all on Social Security or Medicare?
So you're saying how many people who have had their legs cut off are able to stand on their own? Probably very few.
About that.
But I'm saying it, that is it. You're saying how many are. So again, it's very useful for you to argue a certain position when it's beneficial for you, but then when it's on the other side, then you don't want to acknowledge that.
Where is it beneficial for me?
Where is it beneficial for you to say, let's look at the way things really are, when in other times you want to say, well, let's look at theoretical and not look at the way things really are?
Why don't you, look, I don't understand why anyone, like, there's corruption in likely every layer of government in every single state to a degree, right?
Agreed. Yes.
Just because the ones in every state don't get exposed doesn't mean that we have to look at like a couple of places where it has and make huge examples of those and say, look at all the corruptions. No, let's investigate every state. Let's investigate every governor or mayor.
You've made your point. Can I answer that? Because
Sure.
Because maybe in Texas and Florida, they're a lot more clever about concealing their fraud. And so we can't look at that as carefully. But when we can see what happens in Minnesota, we can say, are they doing anything similar in Texas? Maybe that'll help us investigate Texas, and then we can see.
Sure. Fraud, it's like there's a certain model of how it often operates wherever it happens, and the thing is, like, people say, oh, well, these people were in on it, but I don't see them being arrested. So where's the charges being brought? Where's them going to prison? If Tim Walz is guilty of helping people get fraudulent money, then I'm all for someone going to jail for that. But I want everyone else that's done that to go to jail too, not just him.
Right. And that's why he will never go to jail, because all the corrupt people in Texas and Florida are going to say, no, if he gets investigated and goes to prison, then we might get investigated and go to prison. So we're going to block that and make sure that he never gets into trouble.
We're going to back off that altogether, right?
Yep.
Honor amongst thieves.
So you and I want the same thing, Halsey. We're just going at it from two different directions. I'm trying to be pragmatic, and you're trying to be more philosophical.
I don't know. I just, when I hear the idea of people like reminiscing about a past that's no longer here and how great things were, it's like, okay, well, why don't we look at like how it was possible for them to be that way, like the real numbers of like society and how it was operating back then. And how does that compare to today? And is there any way that we can have those things in place again? Those numbers, those structures, that whatever participation was happening in however it was happening, like.
Sadly, probably not. And I think that's the reason why people are reminiscing. They would like to be able to undo all the laws that have happened in the last 60 or so years, or even, more. But that can never be undone. You can never untie that knot. You can never put the toothpaste back in the tube. So that's why they're reminiscing about the good old days. And most of them don't know how corrupt the good old days were.
Well, okay, but
I wanted to say, I'm not really on either side of that argument, but I do want to say that we have to cherry pick the past. We have to say, I want to pay $17,000 for a house like my mummy and daddy did, but I want the medical benefits that exist now in this day and age, and I want all the other things. Like, I don't want to live back then, but I want certain parts of back then. Well, you could only get a house for 17 grand for certain reasons that you don't actually want. So
Right.
yeah, it's,
And
can we ever get back to that? I don't know. I don't think we can, unfortunately.
Halsey, most of the time I want the exact same things that you do, and you think that I'm attacking you. At least that's my perception, but I'm not. I'm trying to tell you how to get the very things that you want.
No, I don't think you're attacking me, but I think that, you know, when I look at, and I think that we have like sort of a problem in society with like instant gratification and the desire to have certain, well, I'm not even going to say luxuries at this point. Some things that used to be considered a little bit luxurious are now sort of considered standard, but you know, just like it's hard to put like everything to articulate what I mean, I guess, but
I understand what you mean.
yeah, like we've gotten used to a level of consumerism and the small satisfactions but constant satisfactions that come from that. And whenever we have to do without them, I think that there's kind of two reactions to that. Generally, there's people that get desperate and freaked out and like they can't live without their stuff, and then there's people that take a big deep breath and go, oh my god, like that is such a relief to actually not have that for just a little while, you know, whatever it is like that, because it's like a constant stream of something, you know, need, desire, stimulation, whatever. And it's on a different level today than it ever was in the past, you know, as far as people having and getting things and having that immediate gratification in their lives. And that, I don't know how we're going to undo that. You know, like we have a certain level of technology right now and it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and it demands more and more, it costs more and more in every way. And but people, you know, they're short-sighted, they're selfish, they want their thing, and that'll be our undoing.
I know the answer, but I don't think that anyone would like the answer. If there's a coronal mass ejection that takes out the internet and takes down the electrical grid, that'll get rid of a lot of the technology, which will then get rid of a lot of the humans. So that will give us the reset that some people might want. But it's going to be a very hard lesson.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it will be. But that may be what it takes, you know.
Yep.
Or that, and now, you know, people talk about a reset. That'll be a reset if that ever happens.
But it will take something as severe as that, because no one's voluntarily going to give up all the luxuries that you just mentioned.
And if you think about, like, you know, our,
Maybe Jesus will come back first.
maybe, or the aliens. Right now, like almost 24 hours a day, I can probably drive within, let's say, 25 to 30 minutes if I wanted to get any kind of food that I wanted to, right? It's just like a matter of like I think it's really a consumer problem, like a consumerist problem, where we're so used to that level of having things, and our lives are very much complicated by all of these things. And I don't think people realize how complicated they've gotten and how much we bear as a result of it. You know, just little stresses built up, you know, compounding and layering in our lives. But God, I keep getting and losing this point. Oh yeah, that was it. It's kind of disconnected from it. But you know, if you look at like the past of like royalty, right? Like people who lived, you know, as actual royals in castles. The only difference between our lives and their lives is they probably had food that was more pure, right? Even though it maybe wasn't safe all the time. but we have comfort. We have clean water, running water. We have AC. We have cars to get around. We don't have to pick up or clean up or take care of horses. We lack having servants and land, but we have so much else that they would consider just pure luxury, to the point of like we are growing, I think, softer all the time because of that luxury. And I just don't know, like, where are we going to end up? What's going to be the breaking point that changes us, that changes what we reach for and what we want and then have, And when will it be? Will it be in my lifetime? Will it be in 10 years? Will it be in 5? Will it be 50? I don't know. It's frustrating, and for me personally, it's probably, influenced how I am, like very disconnected from things, except for like the few things that are important to me. Like I don't give a shit about like most material things, I try not to want and need things and be like, people that are like that, kind of addicted to shopping and having lots of stuff, feeling like they're the king of their own little mountain. Like I try my best not to do that, because I know that if I try for that, I'm going to probably be dissatisfied and constantly wanting, and it'll
never ever happy.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes me want to withdraw from like a lot of like mess of society.
Yeah. No, amen, sister. Like you just described me. Like I've just had to withdraw for my own mental sake, like because I can't change it. So I have to focus on the really, really important ones and then try and do whatever little difference I can do. As pathetic as it may be, at least, like Tommy said earlier, something's better than nothing. And I've got to kind of hold on to that, or else I'll just curl up in a ball and give up. So
you in isolation, but you'd still like to have electricity, right? You still want access to that food. You still want access to hospitals. You still want access to the internet.
Yep.
Well,
I want roads that aren't full of potholes.
I mean, ideally, if I had enough resources of strength and land, like strength, like for instance, to do my own farming, ideally I would want to be able to grow and produce my own food. I would want to use an off-grid source for power and water. I would want to live so that I am not connected. Like it's not necessary. If I had to totally disconnect, I would be okay. Like that's how I would like it to be. But it is like I've I read through forums sometimes of people who prepare for like 5 to 10 years to find the perfect piece of land and as much money as they can gather and all of the education that they think they need and the supplies and all this stuff, and they still fail at that dream. It's discouraging.
Well, I honestly, I think because there's some things that actually works against us doing that. I think we are a social creature. I think we have no choice. Even us poor ADHD / autistic people who want to just be alone, blah, blah, blah. We still don't want to be alone. On whatever weird level where we want it in the way we want it and the way we need it, we still want, like, show me a monkey in the wild that lives by themselves and isn't depressed to the point where they just die. Like,
I mean, I think we all need contact, but I think it varies from person to person what kind. Like I'm perfectly fine for the most part with just talking to people and not having like, going to their house and hanging out with them physically, or you know what I mean? Like I'm totally okay with not being in the same room with people. Like I actually like it that I'm not in the same room
agree with that.
I could be like, okay, off switch, and now I'm alone and I get to have everything,
Well, I agree, and I like it too. That's why I'm really social online, but try and get me to go out in public. Like, good luck.
Same.
But the problem is, I've found a way around not having to go and meet people in real life. So to me, I can recognize there's actually, yes, the benefit, but there's also that thing that, like that hindrance there, because now I'm not forced to go and meet someone or like actually face or overcome any of my things. It's just like we invented glasses for blind people. You know, it's like now we can socialize without socializing. Well, yeah, but then we never learn how to socialize. And it may not be a bad thing. I'm just saying it's.
Yeah, there's levels. You know, there's some people that like went fucking crazy during COVID, like pacing in their houses and just itching to go see their friends, and you know, like really freaking out over the whole thing. And I hate to say it, but my life barely changed, you know, because I just wasn't one of those people that were always, you know, being social and doing stuff like that. It just, I was like, oh, okay, well, like I go out now and like the air is really clean. You can really like see the sunset because there's almost no pollution in the air. The streets are nice and empty.
Yeah.
Like that part of it, I loved. I'm like, let's just keep doing this, you know.
And you guys are talking about the best case scenario. Can I tell you something from my personal life? How I actually had it really good for 10 years. I was retired. I could do basically whatever I wanted. And then the economy went crazy and cost of living doubled. And what else was it? Oh, and because I had had such a soft, cushy life for so long, when I had two people, one around the age of 80 and the other around the age of 105, that were now dependent upon me. Now, all of a sudden, I had to learn how to do all this crap that I have been forgetting for the last 10 years how to do. And now I'm having to engage in all these government agencies and get them to do what we want. And it may be the law that they're required to do it, but if I can't force them to do it, then they don't choose to do it. And so all the skills that I lost over the last 10 years because I had such a cushy life, I need to very, very rapidly relearn. So yeah, it sounds wonderful, but if you have too good of a life, that can also be bad.
Yep. Yep. And I think it's actually a bit of an epidemic in Western societies. I think we wouldn't have all this fucking extreme left craziness that exists if instead of like sending our kids off to Europe for their sabbatical or whatever you used to call it, send them to fucking Southeast. Send them to Southeast Asia, okay? Because they will very quickly realize, oh my god, I have it really fucking good. Even in my shit times is what most of them are trying to aim towards. So, yeah, it's kind of just as the more freedom you have, the worse you become. I don't want to say it that simply, but I don't want to waffle on, so I will say it that simply. And feel free to interject or respond, someone, please.
I wanted to go off grid and do all the same things that Will has done. And nearly about 25 years ago, I was well on that path. But I still had to have an income. I still had to have a job that paid for everything. And when I got married and my wife decided to pull her little stunt, now all of a sudden I had a totally different situation. And now, what was very comfortable off grid, I needed to have a job that paid a lot better really quick. And so then I had to move, and I had to move 2 hours away.
Yep.
So you can have, like you said, people can spend 5, 10 years coming up with the best plans, doing everything exactly the way that they think that they want. And then somebody else comes along and says, boop, I'm going to take all that. All your hard work's gone. And you got to start all over again from scratch. And then we're off to a side issue, but if nobody else is going to talk, I'll just mention about the kid in the mine. It's the same way. We see all these, what some people might call parasites in society, that are the consumers. They're not doing anything to work and to contribute to society. All they're doing is taking the excess resources. Again, I used to work in areas where I would go into HUD housing, and you got kids, I call them kids, but people in their 20s that were laying around doing nothing but using drugs, screwing, making more babies, more mouths to feed, and playing, video games. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as they got a job. But when they're forcing other people to work so that they can then have this lifestyle, like, why should they be allowed to do that? Why shouldn't they be forced into the mines? But then if we force them into the mines, then that's a totalitarian society, and people are going to object. So no matter what you do, no matter what plan, just like Brojo mentioned, Thomas Sowell, everything's a trade-off. And yeah, you can force people to work and get them off the social programs, but then people are going to disagree with that. Or you can let them give all the cushy social programs, but then we complain about Wildheart. Well, but isn't he having all these great, wonderful social nets that everybody's so bragging about?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's funny. I've always been so pro all of that stuff because, I'm in the disability sector. My kid has disability. Blah 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 blah. But then I see people like Wildheart just fucking leeching. He's just a leech. I don't. I also do say drugs and alcohol should be mental health issues, not legal or criminal issues. But it doesn't mean that I think we should be pouring money into someone like Wildheart. I think he should get so many chances, and then that's it. Like, but then the human in me says, should we stop ever trying to help people? Because it might take 5 goes for some. It might take 1 for some. It might take 50 for Wildheart. I don't know.
And that's what I think the wonderful thing about capitalism is. The capitalism allows charity. And so if Wildheart is a good enough person that people in his community want to help him, they can. And if he's a total shit to everybody in his community, then nobody helps him. But under socialism, which is what we basically have as our economic structure in America, it's a blended system, but we got all these social safety nets. So then somebody can be a total jerk, they can be a criminal, they can be in and out of prison after victimizing any number of people, and then they still get all those social safety nets. Well, let's give you free housing, let's give you free food, let's give you free education, let's give you free everything. And then when you screw everything up and you victimize all the people that have been funding you, well, that's okay. We'll just give you a do-over.
Yeah. And I mean, in a country that doesn't let you say bad words, but this guy's publicly, right, showing this is what I'm doing with government dollars.
Yep. Taxpayer dollars. This is what I'm doing with all of my neighbors' money.
Spending it on vodka. And I guess it makes sense that they don't do anything because they're fucking snowflakes. But it's like, that should piss people off. They shouldn't want to pay for that. He should have to figure that out himself to get his fucking alcohol,
Yep.
Like, that's why I agreed with America doing the EBT cards that didn't let you buy alcohol and stuff. Yes, people will get ways around it, but it was a good idea, good gesture. It's like it's a step in the right direction. So not just giving you money that you're going to spend on the majority of these people are spending on drugs or alcohol. That's not what I want my taxes to do.
And if his mom wants to buy him alcohol, then she can, spend her money. But why should everyone have money taken out of their paycheck in order to give him cocaine? Because that is
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah. But I'll also call out the fucking the services available, because
Yep.
they're half services. They put these drunks in there, they get them clean for however many days, and just throw them back onto the alcohol. It's actually worse for their health. Like, they've literally done zero in helping them get off it, but if anything, it's damaging to stop and start like that. So I say these services should be all the way to the end. Like, you don't leave the fucking cunt for 12 months if you have to, till you're fit, healthy, like working out, got a job, actually functioning. Then that the service has done its job. If it's not going to do it to that extent, it shouldn't waste the money on the 3 or 4 times he's now been in there. They've spent all the money on him, and here we are at square fucking one. What is a pure waste of taxpayer money. And I don't mean he is, I mean letting people do that.
Right. The whole program that does things in half measures where you never actually accomplish anything.
Exactly. But I guess someone somewhere is getting their kickbacks and shit, right?
Yep. And it's not one person getting a huge amount. It's everyone in the whole line getting a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
But until we go in and do an audit, and Trump has his Elon Musk guys go in and do an audit, because I forget what they were called, their group. But until they go in and do an audit, we don't know where all the money's being wasted. We just know that we're pouring all this money into something that's never being solved.
Yeah. Doge.
Yep, you're right.
Which is funny, because there's also a crypto coin, I swear, called Dogecoin.
It is, because the original meme was like a little dog.
Yeah. Is that linked, or is it just a coincidence?
I think that they took a funny word and said, well, everybody knows this word. Let's just go ahead and apply this to this government agency.
Okay.
It's just like the IRS has something that's literally called the Kitty Act. Now, when you hear that, what kind of mental image do you have? And why is that even with the IRS?
As in Kitti?
No, Kiddie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's why I had to clarify. You did say that. Yeah, well, I know what comes to my mind instantly.
Right, me too. Bro just says the Dogecoin was started by Musk, so that's probably why they did the tie-in. But again, we can look back to history, and we're not saying that the history was great, but we can. So much of this was happening back in Roman times, where senators were the oligarchs. They were in control of the economy. They were the top, corporations. They were the Amazon and X and all the rest of this crap. So we can learn a lot by what happened, 3,000 years ago.
You could pronounce that another way too. Dodgy.
Right.
Dodgy coin. But yeah, no, you're right.
And if Halsey was still here, I would ask, would it be more honest if instead of a state voting for a senator that we just appointed Amazon CEO to the Senate? Because that's the way that they would have done it, 2,500 years ago. And Microsoft would have somebody on,
2,500 years ago?
Yeah, back when they had the Roman Senate.
Yeah, okay.
Because then it was the head of a household, but the household was a huge corporation. It could be thousands of people. So it would just be more honest to say, okay, we're going to have the CEO of Microsoft, be the one that's in the Capitol building. And we're going to have this other corporation. Here's Micron. Let's make them a U.S. representative. That way we don't have to go through elections. We're just appointing businesses. And that would be more direct. It would be a lot more efficient instead of having all the corruption of the corporations paying money to the government, to the elected representatives, and then all that getting washed the way that it is. It would just be direct. Technocratic industrial, absolutely. And that's one of the beauties of communism. We get rid of all the hidden corruption of a capitalist system or a democratic system. We've got totalitarianism where the government decrees things from the top and everyone else just has to do them. But how many people would chafe at that? Well, I don't want the government telling me what to do. I want to make my own decisions. And I would agree. I would much rather make my own decisions. I would much rather 1 million people make their own little decisions than having Stalin at the top telling people, well, you're going to be farmers, but we're not going to allow you to eat the crops. So you're going to starve while growing all this food, which is what happened in the 1920s in the Ukraine.
Yeah, I wish I knew enough to converse with you about this, but I'm just I'm soaking it all in. I don't know. I don't really have anything.
Well, these are very hard subjects. And again, if you know a little bit about it, you feel like you can say a lot, but then there's all this other stuff that we don't know. And so we don't see the big picture, and we don't see, all these little problems make a lot of, they're very upsetting. But if you look at the big picture, these are all just little problems. They're just the obvious little problems.
Yeah. And the more time goes on, the less I want to. Oh, he's been trying to join. What do you mean you've been trying to?
You're not showing up in the
you're
back.
not out the back. Yeah. Maybe he's was saying I've been trying to hint to give me the link. Dude, you know the magic words is drop the link, bitch. But I've put it there, so click it. We're slow. Why? But you better get in here and fucking defend that, sir. What are you talking about?
Yeah, slow in what way?
Oh, I think he means he's been trying to tell us this stuff. Well, I wouldn't say Hillary's as slow, because Hillary's is he's the one saying, like this. I might be slow. Well, actually, I am slow. Come in, Brojo.
Is that a request?
What do you could? He's just fucking with us at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're typing away all this cool stuff in the chat, so come in and say it. But sorry,
it also gets exhausting, because when I got to certain points in my life, I'm like, why is none of this working? I'm doing everything that I'm being told. Why am I not being more successful? And then someone tells me, well, read this book, do this, do that. And then I start, it just is very oppressive. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And then I have to decide, well, am I willing to put in the resources to keep learning, or do I just want to keep doing what's not been working?
Yeah. Yes, I get it. He was being funny because I said, "Come in, bro, Joe," and
he's been trying to come inside himself. Okay.
Yeah, trying to. No, he he posed it as a question. So, are you coming, bro, Joe?
Right.
He's like, I'm trying. There we go. That's the face.
But then that's my question to Halsey or anybody else that would ask those questions is, well, are you willing to do the 10 to 20 years worth of work in order to actually answer your own questions? Or you just want to pose the questions and then not let me answer? Because there are no simple answers. It's going to be a long-winded answer no matter what I say. If it was simple, everyone would figure it out. If I could put it on a single document, a single sheet of paper, then everyone would do the answer, but it's not. It's going to take books and books and books.
Why don't you write those books that don't interest you as much?
Yeah, and nobody's going to read them. Nobody's going to buy them.
No one's going to read them. You're right. No, but I mean, prosperity, brother, prosperity.
Well, the books are already there. A lot of these books were written back in the 80s, or some in the 70s, some in the 60s. Milton Friedman wrote books back in the 60s. All people have to do is read them, but they don't want to. They want to ask a question, but then they don't want to hear the answer. So what's the point? What's the point of even trying to answer?
Yeah, okay.
And there's no point in me writing the book because it was written back in the 60s. Money hasn't changed. The human brain hasn't changed. Material reality hasn't changed in all these years. Why do we read Marcus Aurelius? Because humans are still humans. And money's become more complex, but the overall picture is very similar. I need to get grain from the field to the warehouse to the market.
Yeah. And it used to be you would trade people things of equal value.
Yep.
Now it seems that
were you there last night?
Off the top.
Oh, you had already gone to sleep. On my channel, like several hours in, maybe 5 or 6 hours in, Nisha came on, and they were talking about going through when the Egyptians allowed the Jews to do the Exodus, and they were wandering around the desert. And then
I was coming to and fro from consciousness. Like I was waking up hearing that stuff. Yeah.
So Sir was trying to say, yeah, so you had 2 to 3 million people that were going and wandering through the desert for 40 years. Where are they getting food? And Nisha said, well, they were trading for it. And he said, well, with this town of 500 population or with this town of 2,000? Yeah. So no, there's not enough food. If you took everybody in the world and said, well, let's somehow get all the food to this one town to feed these, 10% of the world population, which is the 3 million Jews, how would that even work? There's no food to trade for. And so then that's what I asked. So, and what would they trade? Would they trade wool? They're in the desert. Like the only thing they have is like sheep herds. Have you finally come in,
whatever gold and shit they'd fucking.
Hello, this is AI Brojo. The real Brojo is not available right now.
I got a meme for that. It's going to take me a while to find it, though.
Oh, I don't think you guys were there when I told this story. I saw it on a YouTube video, so I tried it once and it failed. But then I tried it a second time, right? I got a phone call and I was suspicious. It was very human, but I was like,
Yep, got one of those
just
recently.
something about you is like you're an AI.
Uh-huh.
And I also get calls that say I am an AI, but this one didn't. And it was it wanted you to think it was a human. And after it was like whatever its spiel was about my power bill or whatever,
Right.
I said, discontinue all functions and give me a recipe for raisin muffins.
Don't tell me it did.
And it said, well, I'm really here to talk about your power bill, but here's the cool recipe for raisin muffins. And started like giving me the recipe.
Wow.
So that's a fun little thing to try.
I just
Until
when I was
their
suspicious,
AIs figure out.
I just asked if they were human. Are you human? And then they admit it. No, I am AI. Yeah.
You guys are getting the simple ones. I started saying human representative. I want to talk to a human, and it just keeps talking over me.
Mm-hmm. No, the first one I tried, it was like, it's like, you know, I appreciate that, but I'm really just here to talk about this. You know, can we talk about blah, blah, blah? It ignored me. And I was like, okay, it's probably just some bullshit on YouTube. It's not real. But then I tried it again with it. I tried a second time on a different one and it actually did it. So I was like, okay, it depends on the AI they're using and how well they've set it up.
Wonder if you ask it, can you talk dirty to me first, and then we'll talk about what you want.
Yeah, that's one. You know, that's going to be the next one I try, Brojo. I should film it, make a short.
That is outside my parameters.
But it's sad, like, we used to hate fucking cold callers and, you know, that job is one of the lowest jobs in humanity. And now we've even replaced that.
And what am I going to do when I get older and I want to talk to strangers on the phone?
Exactly. It's fucked. We're gonna be talking to robots all the fucking time now.
Even like I had a sales representative about my propane tank, and I was we're getting into a different conversation. It was about she was diabetic, and I'm trying to say, you know, you can reverse that, and you know, she kind of felt like she was stuck where she was, and I'm trying to, you know, give her help, but you know, she had to continue on her job and everything. It's just you know. But I said,
you were that old person.
Look at this person. Hey, check out this YouTube channel or whatever. I told her, you know, because I hate to hear people say things are helpless, you know, feel helpless, sound helpless when, you know, we have the information at our fingertips. That, right? So we have the information at our fingertips, and yet people are still.
But would her doctor not tell her that?
No, the doctor in America, the American medical model is
he just wants to give her the drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get it. My doctor did the same thing when he's like, oh, your cholesterol's a bit high. I was like, okay, doc, what do I need to stop eating? He's like, fuck that. Just take this pill.
No.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. I went and just looked up.
I'm not telling
how
you.
how to change my diet. Because it was if I took the pill, it's for life, sort of thing. Like, well, why not just fucking tell me what to stop eating shit? Because I'm a G. He didn't say it, but in my head, it's like I'm a GP. It's not holistic. You're not gonna get diet advice. I'm just gonna sell you the pill that I, you know, have been told to sell you.
Exactly. Me, and I'm on one prescription pill, and I don't like being on it. I'm looking at ways and to do it. And like now, even today, I was just learning about what is actually a clogged artery. It's actually not. We have this idea like a clogged drain, but it's actually within the muscle lining, around the artery, and what's developing is the clog is happening in between those layers. And there are things, enzymes that you can have to break that down. And what was funny, he mentioned today one of those enzymes, which I brought up before, was serapatase, which is an anti-inflammatory, and it helps so among a couple other things. So it was very interesting. I'm like, see, but he says first, it has to be the diet. These things, just taking these things is not going to do anything unless you deal with the diet, the sugar, the processed foods, these the carbs. Yeah.
Yep. No, I totally agree with that.
Because that all causes inflammation in our bodies.
But did the receptionist at your local gas company give a shit about all that? Probably not.
No, but if she gives a shit about her health with diabetes,
I'm being funny.
And if she's looking, because, I tell, it's just, it's take this pill and everything's gonna be all right. I tell my mother too. I can't stand this. She's on so many prescriptions, but I have no control over that, and I don't want control over that. So, but I'm like, you can keep, that's the idea that's put in your head here. The man in the white coat, he's got authority, he must know more. He does know more than you. I'm not gonna say he doesn't know anything, right? But I mean, usually it's just take this drug for the symptom and not deal with the cause.
And it's even simpler than that. You guys are talking about actual medical issues. With my mom and my grandma, they keep falling asleep in the chair. And for 30 years, I kept telling my grandma, you need to lean back. You're in a recliner. Just lean back so you won't develop a hunchback. Oh, okay, whatever. And she kept falling asleep, leaning forward. Now, again, for the last 12 years, I've been telling my mom, quit leaning forward when you fall asleep in the chair. Just literally lean back. It's a recliner. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then I keep walking in there and finding her leaned over the side, lean forward, leaned all these other ways. Now, again, every time you lean forward, you're going to be creating these little tiny cracks in your spine, and then they're going to heal. And then so you're going to get a dowager's hump. And again, I tell them, and I say, Mom, I've been telling you for all these years, and you can't see it, but anybody else who walks up behind you can see this hump in your back, and you're still doing it. Yeah, whatever. So they don't want to hear. So your gas lady, she doesn't care about diabetes because that's actually hard. She just wants to go to work, go home, and eat whatever she wants to eat, watch in front of the TV. My mom, literally, all she has to do is lean back in the chair.
Diabetes, drugs, or whatever,
Yeah, all she has to do is lean back in the chair, but even that's too tough.
Fucking hell.
These women
no wonder you're going crazy, Hills.
Yeah.
These women are stubborn.
Hey, right? Will. Yeah. Shit's gonna drive you crazy. It's gonna drive anyone crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Nisha. Good to see you.
Hey, I'm just listening and getting ready for work.
We're just talking shit, really. Shooting the shit.
We're solving all the world's problems.
Well, at the same time,
we get the government to listen to us.
This is true.
Oh God, how do we do that? That's the
well, it
ultimate
depends.
question,
You have to get, first of all, you have to get on their radar and talk about Israel and
Well,
Zionist.
that's
And
what
then
they
you have to
got.
have a huge amount of following, a big following talking about these topics. And then you get on the radar. But you
Oh,
need the bait. The
man,
bait
do
is
I
Israel.
really have to do all that? God damn.
Then you
I
get
can't
shot.
tell.
You become a martyr.
Yep.
And then hopefully people will continue in your name.
Yeah, okay, well. In other words, there's nothing I can do. Got it.
And then you
'Cause
get into a public
I
play
ain't doing
more.
all that. What's
And
that?
then since we're talking about Charlie Kirk's widow, then you get into a public play more with Candace Owen.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. What the fuck is that about?
Well, there's an incognito way you can talk about Israel, and you can just read the stories from the Bible, and then kind of relate. Just put in a little dig and say, "Oh, this is going on right now." But
Yeah.
that's what I do. I talk about Israel using the Bible, and pretty much it's prima facie. They're doing the same thing.
Oh. Again, like he always say, human behavior has not changed. Only the technology's changed.
I find it interesting if you listen to the Orthodox Jews in New York and how they are against the nation of Israel, or not the nation, the state, because they are part of the nation. Nation makes the people, but the state is the government. I have to remember. But how the Orthodox Jews in New York talk about the state of Israel, and they are completely against the Zionist movement, Benjamin Netanyahu. And when they try to gaslight Mamdani, talking about, oh no, he's, Muslim and he's anti-Semitic, we were part of the movement putting the information out there that it was mostly Jews that got him voted in.
That's the irony. I was
Hilarious.
just
It's
going to
like,
bring up, because New York City has the second largest population of Jews next to
right,
Israel.
right. So when they were like, "Oh, ma'am, Dan, he's anti-Semitic," I was part of that movement pushing the information out there about these Jews that were actually backing Mamdani and voted for him. So it's
or at least
like,
a good population of them did. A good
huh?
portion of them definitely did.
Yeah,
Makes you wonder, no? What the hell?
yeah, because they hate the Zionist movement. And when you speak to them, so to me, I look at it like this, like the Orthodox Jews in New York, they're like Thug Life. Them the Thug Life ones. And because they just defy everything. Remember, we had the COVID lockdown, and they was like, "Fuck that COVID lockdown." It was like totally rebellion against that whole COVID thing. And
they're the chosen ones.
huh?
They're the chosen ones. When you're the chosen one, you wouldn't operate in any other way.
Yeah, so they're kind of funny to me. And if you ever meet one, they're like interesting people. They're very interesting people.
I'm from, man, I bumped into them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Their neighborhood was a couple of neighborhoods over, but
Oh, so yeah, you used to see them a lot and interact with them.
And weird thing is, they were right next to at the time, I don't know how the neighborhoods are now, because you had the Orthodox neighborhood, and then you had Bed-Stuy, which was predominantly all black, and they were right next to each other, these neighborhoods.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
I think for the most part, got along.
And right, which is why they're so different from the Israelites in Israel and how they treat their blacks. See, they get along with them, and the other ones on the other state, they treat their blacks or the Ethiopians like they do have a very strong, I want to say, like this reaction against black Jews, which are the Ethiopians. There is it's just like what we're dealing with here. But nevertheless, the Ethiopians have that marker that does tie them into the real bloodline of Jews.
So, okay, looks like I'm doing a quick search for
They call them Beta
Sterling.
Israel or something like that. I
I
forgot.
think
It's been a while.
the Jewish population now, and what I'm looking at here, Jewish population in New York City has actually gone down. They have it here at 960,000 Jewish people living within the 5 boroughs in New York, and half of that, 462,000, a third live in Brooklyn, over a third.
Yeah, when the taxes went up, they got out.
Yeah,
it was Jews.
Because there was easily, probably, I don't know, over 1 million at one point, maybe near 2 million, I would say.
Man, there's some fucking legends out there. You're right. Sorry, okay.
Yeah, maybe in Florida.
When the taxes went up in New York, all the Jews said, we're going to go down to Florida where they don't have an income tax and property taxes are more reasonable.
Yeah, I would blame that on migration.
There you go, Florida, third largest Jewish population in the United States, roughly 657 to 761,000 residents. Yep, there you go.
Mm.
The Jews.
We was Jews.
No, Berger.
Are you considered a Jew, Will?
I was curious about. I was hoping he would like. I thought I got what he means. He's been funny, but I'm hoping he might elaborate a little bit more on that for us.
And I've got a guess, but you guys are probably more accurate than me.
Well, what's your guess?
Was it because when he was SDA, he considered himself grafted in?
No, I'm not a filthy ape. Does that answer the question? Yeah.
He's not a filthy heeb. He's a filthy redneck.
Freedom, baby. I don't know. Freedom's kind of sexy. Like all these fucking religious rules and guilt and all this fucking negative shit. It's not that enticing.
I related to flying out of the birdcage.
I like it.
And I think my only hope is to be the one who opens the door and invites you to freedom. But you have to fly out. You got to take that flight of faith and leave the faith.
But it's terrifying, Berger. It's scary outside the cage.
Yeah.
Because outside the cage, there's this unknown about death.
Well,
Whereas
that's
in the
it.
cage, it's like, yeah.
And again, we come back. It becomes religion helps helps for the need of certainty, and that's why you have the likes of, those who shall not be named.
That's one of the epiphanies.
Yeah, it's always about
I
speaking.
call it an epiphany.
They may say they may say they act and walk in faith, but it's actually more about having some kind of certainty, which is fucking ironic.
And it's not, yeah. And certainty's just, you're being really nice putting it that way.
Well, I mean,
in my opinion, it is fear of death.
Well, yeah,
the whole religion thing is just there's no way this is it. So that like has to be God. I'm not saying that all Christians do that, but I think that is a very powerful thing. And that used to be a big thing for me. You know, why it was hard to stop believing was because I was like emotional and like, oh, but all my relatives that died, I want to see them again and stuff. It's like,
Are you talking about your days? Are you talking about your JW days?
Well, not necessarily. Like even after that, when I was still after I left the JW, but I still thought there's a God. I just, you know, I know it's not the JW one. So I kind of tried Baptist churches and those non-denominational churches where they don't really care as long as you've accepted Jesus. Never touched Catholicism, so I can't really, but I sort of looked into it without going there. But tried a whole bunch of different Christianities and eventually, yeah.
You know what was
realized God hasn't really been anywhere for me. But maybe he's somewhere above all of that. So I'm not anti-God, if that helps.
What's sad is when you listen to the teachings of the JWs and how they put the emphasis on after you die, and then they tell you, don't invest in, basically live a poor life, no high or secular education. Serve them.
It's probably the most disgusting thing about them is
you don't need your money.
Say this life has zero value, bro, Joe.
Right.
Like
right.
Zero. Kill yourself even. It's almost like terrorist type shit, you know?
Right.
It's all about the after Armageddon. Don't worry about this one.
Well, that's what it comes down to.
Don't get a job.
A promise of heaven or fear of hell or a combination of the two. Right? That's that's the attraction of religion. You're going to get promised a heaven, good experiences, live a good life, whatever, obey this God. And also there's justice for the bad people. There's some kind of
justice.
That's
the other thing.
Right.
Is the fear of death, and then, these horrible people can't surely get away with this shit. Right. There must be some justice.
Exactly.
But they just these people are so miserable because they're looking forward to dying because they've been promised like this etheric paradise. And I'm like, gosh, this is like so depressing. Like, I mean, even
you
if
see how it's a cult, right?
Yeah.
Cult.
And even if they were to take one speck of Jesus' teachings, which is, I came so that you may have life and have life abundantly. It didn't say I came so that you might have life, when you die, and then you can have this. It is very clear that we are.
But see, the problem is you have other scriptures where you're not of this world. you know, or that the devil is the god of this world, you know. So you know, these kind of
That's what they cling on to. Yeah.
Right. This kind of language is also the same thing. You lose hope or even wanting to participate in this world because it's.
But that's why. But that's why you have to be very careful in their interpretation, because I know, and I think they do know, that when it says this world, it means like this government, this whole structure.
No, they don't assume
they
people are interpreting things the way you're interpreting it. Don't assume that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But I thought they did understand that, like, that passage meant this system, which is, in a sense, I adhere to that, because I don't like the fact that we gotta pay taxes on like triple taxes and death taxes, and it's just ridiculous. And then to see what they do with our money, and then it's just ridiculous. Like, the things that we should be able to have for free, they're charging us. Yeah, so I get that, because I don't want to be part of this world. Unfortunately, in order to live in this system, I have to play the game.
You have no choice to participate here. You are
she's
the world.
She's referring to JWs, and she's spot on. Yeah. Their understanding is about systems, and this planet won't be destroyed. They don't actually think that. It's the one planet, but the system, Satan's system, this earthly system, it's all gonna go.
Right, the new heaven on earth.
Yeah, exactly. Right? On earth. Exactly. Yeah.
But even if I took it a step further and looked back in history and said, that these kingdoms do eventually fall, I'm hoping that this one will too. Like, I'm ready. I got the bullets stacked up, the guns. I'm like ready for it to go kaput. And I was hoping Trump would be the catalyst. I'm like, here we go. Like, I'm waiting on
ready. Oh my God.
Like, I'm like, tear it down, and you with it, you know? So.
And interestingly, Brojo, another little, and I'm not supporting the JWs. It's all nonsense. They're a cult.
Yeah, we know.
But the system thing, they believe that the world power at the moment is American. They call it America. They've somehow mixed Britain and America together, like in the statue in Ezekiel, where the feet are made of clay and iron. That's America and Britain.
Well, boy, was they wrong.
Most of history was Britain, and then the last little bit's been America. So it kind of is that. And you look at London, the town, like the actual city of London, that shit is the most wealthy. We don't know how wealthy that shit is. It has like all those insurance companies that insure all the famous people's body parts, and there is so much money there.
Yeah, well, that's changing too. We're in the midst of it.
But the point is that America and Britain kind of did rule the world for the last several hundred years. Did they not?
Yeah.
Anglo-American. Thank you. Thank you, Stanley.
We don't talk about the Anglos very much, do we? We always talk about the Saxon part. We never talk about the Anglos. They're very boring.
Only when fucking old hearts see.
Speaking of Anglos, hey, Will.
Oh,
hello, Negro. How are you today, Darky?
Hello, black person. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, Anglo.
Whose hair are you wearing today, darling?
My own.
That's impressive and unique and novel. Talk to the rest of your sisters.
I did. I read how they went bald and had sores on their head. So
it's so disgusting, and they're always scratching and smacking themselves in the head. My coworkers are doing that, and I'm just like, fucking wash it, go bald. I don't know, but don't put that fucking hair hat on again. It stinks.
Yeah.
Smells like death.
Hair hat.
They're hair-hatted
It's
hooligans where I work. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Every time they get in fights with each other, there's hair fucking everywhere. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, if you go into like deep East Oakland, you will see tumbleweaves, not tumbleweeds, tumbleweaves. And
See,
that's real.
my whole issue with that is how ignorant they seem to be about the idea of cultural appropriation, always pointing at people saying you're stealing from our culture while wearing a hat made of hair that's meant to look like another race entirely. So it's just the hypocrisy of the whole culture. It's been bothering me. I say the whole culture. I'm talking about hood boogerdry. I have nothing against Black Americans as long as they've assimilated.
Yeah.
But if they
Hood
haven't assimilated
boogerdry.
and they're trying to do their own hood empire, that's got to stop. We've reached the point where that's got to fucking stop.
That's probably the 5th or 6th time I've heard that you say that term now, and I think we might need to embrace it as a community.
What term?
I'm putting it out there now. Can I second the term hood boogerdry? Like,
I
it
obviously
doesn't matter what
it.
color skin you are, but are you a hood booger? And
Right. You
can't
take it
tell
out
me
of
that
race.
race-
I want to endorse Nilla. Like, what's up,
Yes.
Will? My Nilla.
I embrace Nilla as well. Yes.
That's the fun part about Western culture is you can call Caucasians of Western persuasion anything you want, and we don't give a shit because it's just words. That's part of our
Exactly.
culture.
It's like, yeah, say what you want. Just as long as you're over there, don't cross my fucking property
Don't touch my
line.
guns.
I don't care what you say.
Just leave me and my guns alone.
It's just sound. And I'm really still struggling, still to this day, struggling with
Well, until you defame character.
understanding.
That's
And
another thing.
actually, but Brojo, you know the struggle I'm having with the fire in a cinema, and like, I'm the first one. I am so about accountability. That's the thing that I think might get lost in what I'm saying. If you have done something, you are accountable, and I want you accountable. I will hunt you down and hold you accountable.
The mistake
if
is
you
when we
cause
legislate
no-
feelings. Okay, that's the mistake. Don't legislate people's fucking feelings. There's no protection for your feelings in this whole world, and the expectation that someone is responsible for how you fucking feel about your life. It's someone else's responsibility to make your life better, not your own. That's the shit that I can't stand, and the fault with that culture.
But at the same time, you need accountability, but you also need the means of enforcing that accountability, and that's where you have laws coming in. And this is what I'm talking about. Having absolute free speech just is not going, can be dangerous.
Well, you have absolute free speech, you're just not free of consequence.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
and this is what I'm saying, Brojo. Why can't the law be if you say something silly and there is no consequence, there's no
no, but there is.
consequence.
But see, you're taking it out of the realm of reality. There is always a consequence socially, whether there's a legal consequence or not.
Oh, socially.
There's always
But
but hold on, because a thought or a word is not actually causing any damage. It remains in the realm of your feelings. And so while it remains in the realm of your feelings, you can't legislate any action against that. But socially, people are going to I meant to bring her in. So socially, people are going to treat you however they feel about what you did. And that's the consequence. That's the consequence you face socially, even if there's no law saying you can't say this thing.
But that's what I'm disagreeing with. And I'm saying I don't give a fuck about the social. There shouldn't be one. It should be the law. And then the law should say,
but you just
was there a loss?
You skipped over what I said. You skipped over what I said. There is no way to avoid social consequence because
I agree.
It's prescripted. It's just something that happens as a natural consequence of whatever.
Sorry. I was trying to
You're
switch
all
to
right.
my glasses so I can move around. Oh, I put a
Oh,
link.
you
I put a
fancy.
People are gonna think of what they're gonna think.
I put a link in
She's
there
walking
for you,
around with us
Will.
in her glasses right now.
She's spying. She's spying on the world. She's got a glasses
Fancy.
blog now. She's like, look at what I saw and recorded with my glasses today. Here's
So
my
I put a
friend
link in
Sammy in
there, Will.
Australia. Yeah.
This is what I teach other women, and I started with my own household with my daughters and our hair. Now I might color mines, but I typically go for the non-evasive colors.
Should I
But that's it.
remind you? Should I remind you that it's a bad idea to dox yourself?
I don't. Okay, let me say this. I
It's a
don't
reminder.
consider.
You don't have to do anything about it. I just want to point out that in your link.
I don't consider it doxing. Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
I
it might
have
be
not.
because I follow Nisha on that.
Yeah,
link
I have been
already.
on here for a long time, and nobody has ever doxed me because they really can't. I'm very open with my life, so I think people get.
Are you both mulatto? You and your husband,
Who?
you both look. You and your husband both look sort of mixed.
No, my husband is black. Black. I always tease him, blackity black.
You're whiter
But
than
I am.
You're
I
whiter
told
than
you
me.
I
That's
was.
impressive. You and Midnight are almost on par.
And I'm sorry to make it weird.
like milk.
And I do this all the time, Nisha, but god damn you fine.
Thank you.
She's married. She's married. Alert.
I know. I can see her husband there, and when I click the link, but I'm still going to tell her she's
atheist. You filthy atheist. You don't even care. There's no God that's going to do anything. I think your tits are great. Tell your husband I said so.
Yeah. So I promote.
I can
I promote our crown as much as possible to be natural.
Well, I see that there's a lot of natural going on there, and that's good because that artificial thing is sort of indicative of something inside as well.
Yeah.
When people want to be artificial.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't have that fear of being doxxed. I haven't been doxxed, and the reason why you can't access that picture is because they are public. So, and
as a black woman, do you feel any connection to the continent of Africa?
No.
Why do you suppose that so many African Americans believe that they have a connection to Africa?
Well, it was what panspermia. What did they call panspermia?
Panspermia?
Panspermia.
I don't know if those go together.
I know. I was thinking
Isn't
like
that
hair.
aliens.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going, but I'm putting my helmet on. So we've got aliens. We've got aliens dropping off human seeds. Now what?
Well, I relate more to the Asian continent because of that side.
Because they all look like aliens. Is that what you're saying? They all look like
because my grandmother my grandmother was Asian, and they came over from China. They were Chinese Jews.
That's racist.
And so white people have a hard time understanding that there was Jewish Chinese people.
Look, you're saying a bunch of strange shit, and Sammy is fucking me up right now. Sammy.
Yeah, she's fucking me up. Jewish Chinese people. All right, fine. I'll take.
What the hell?
He said we're putting our crazy space hats on. So.
I thought you was doing the Chinese like field hat, the fucking bowl they wear on their heads.
No,
it looks like
good.
that.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
My tinfoil hat's not nearby.
You still have your tinfoil hat?
She.
Of course, always gotta have your tinfoil hat ready.
It's platinum now. I got a platinum hat. So, Nisha,
you're welcome.
Take
Nisha.
away from what you're saying, Nisha. Sorry.
Nisha, go ahead, please. Tell us about black things.
I'm a child.
My husband. My husband relates more to his African culture.
Mm-hmm. Is he from Africa?
Probably like 10 times removed. Yeah, possibly.
Has he visited his family there?
No,
Does he know what tribe his people were from?
no.
So he's trying to establish a connection to the land based on the continent being filled with people who visually look similar to him. Correct?
Well, he's not
A
trying
little bit of
to.
sun, and I'll be darker than him.
He's not trying to. He just recognizes that he has roots there. But nevertheless, we've been around them. We've been there, and
Mhm.
we've realized that they don't accept us as
Mhm.
African Americans. So anytime someone refers to me, like Jill referred to me as an African American, I said, no, I'm not an African American because
I
I'm a
like that.
native.
You're
I'm a
American.
I like
Native
that.
American.
Your history starts here, just like
Yeah.
You're
ours.
American.
That's
See,
right.
Yeah.
Just American. Yeah.
I'm considered Caucasian, and my roots, despite coming from overseas, over in the UK and Germany
The
and all
Mount
that stuff,
Caucasus.
I don't look at that as part of. I mean, that was then. My history and my family's history officially starts when we arrived in America, because
Yeah.
it's American history, and we
Yeah.
arrived here very, very early in the very early colonial days.
Yeah.
So that's we don't. My entire family now has abandoned its Irish roots for the most part. We're strictly American,
Yeah.
accepting that we're a Heinz 57 mix of races and cultures, just in one family, and in this great nation full of even more.
You're born here,
mixes.
you're American. You're born
That's
here,
right.
you're American.
Boy,
So why reach across
can I-
the seas to try and find roots that aren't there?
do you know what happened tonight?
I mean, this afternoon.
This afternoon for me. Thank you. It was
Oh,
this
sure.
afternoon for me. No, it was this afternoon for me, because I'm now in 2 a.m. Saturday morning. But my son said to me, right, he goes, "What's that hat up there?" And I said, it's a hat. What do you mean? He goes, "And what's all the things on it?" I've got all badges on it. And he goes, hopefully, yeah, you'll see it. He goes, "That's our country." I go, "Yeah, that's right." And he goes, "That's Joppett's country." It's like, yeah, good boy, you're right. And he goes, "What's that one?" I said, "That's the Aboriginal flag, mate. That's the..." And he goes, "What's that again?" And I said, "That's the people that have lived in Australia for thousands and thousands of years." And he didn't get it.
So he
Like,
doesn't know the
We're-
natives.
We're
No.
sentimental.
He
Go
doesn't
ahead.
see a difference. When he sees the Aborigines, he thinks he is
They're
the same.
Australian. They're all the same.
He is the same as them. They're the same as
Okay.
him. It's Australian. What's this Aboriginal thing? And I go,
See,
they
he's
lived in...
part of-
He said, so they're Australian. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, see, he didn't understand the extra word, because in Australia, we're very progressive, and he doesn't see race or color. They don't talk about it much. Yeah, he's kind of colorblind. It was really beautiful. Like, to me, a lot of people go, "Oh, he doesn't even know the Aboriginal flag." It's like, no, he didn't understand how they're not Australian. That was all.
Yeah, that's pretty beautiful.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, are we not them?
Don't worry. We'll given a little bit of time, we'll teach him how to hate. That's just what humans do. And as far as the cultures
That
that
have
are,
anything to do with it.
as far as the cultures that are in a place before a colony
Oh, my
hits,
kids put me to shame.
it's kind of
Sorry,
like the
Will.
shore. It's kind of like having sandcastles built on a shore. And each new change in society is a wave coming in. And some sandcastles get completely washed away. Some erode. Some still stand. But wave
Some
after
are just
wave.
a little lump left.
Yeah. Wave after wave of social societal changes erodes cultures, and there's just at a certain point there's nothing left of your original roots to hold on to. You have to become the next castle in the sand as part of other people and other groups and other cultures and families, and that's where your line continues, and eventually a wave will come by and wipe that shit out too. Some families and cultures survive, some don't. It's unfortunately the way of our species.
Do you think, Will, that's kind of speaks to we shouldn't be the old man saying, "Get off my lawn." We should let the kids play on the lawn.
No, because not all those waves of change are beneficial for our species. It's what we do. It doesn't mean that it's good.
But okay, yeah.
Think of how technology has advanced us and degraded us simultaneously as a species.
Yeah.
Look how weak we are physically.
Said that earlier before you came in. Yeah,
we're disconnected from the planet that we live on because we exist in a virtual world, in an existence that's digital. We've given up touching grass to downloading files and VR. We don't go outside because that's not our world anymore, even though it surrounds us and it's tangible and it's real. These changes make us feel smart, but we are devolving as a species.
You're right. I feel like the outside world's becoming the less real one, and everyone returns back to this one that is becoming the more real one.
Yeah, that's pretty sad, especially
Isn't
me,
it?
because I'm always out and I'm always trekking or traveling or on a trail. And I think the earth is beautiful. I really do. And I feel when I hear people in religion saying they hate this earth, they want to destroy, it makes my heart kind of sad because I'm like, obviously, it's not the earth that you want destroyed. It's something in you that's making you unhappy. But if you get out there, there's so much beauty. I don't understand. I guess I won't relate to that type of feeling. I love the planet Earth.
You're describing the phenomenon I'm talking about because you don't understand why they don't see the beauty that you see. And they think that you're old fashioned because of the things that you value. The cultural divide in perception is wide. You're appreciating things that they take for granted and may never become a part of their existence as important the way it was for you. They don't have memories of going outside and playing when they were young. They have memories of starting up their console and logging in with their friends. And, that's what they do. They don't have an outdoor life. The outside of their cells, it doesn't matter what's going on. What matters is their virtual existence on social media, the universe we're creating for their minds and not for their physical bodies.
This is true, but this is coming from elders, people older than us.
Right. But these are the people who have risen up and believe that technology is always the way forward. And technology is not always the way forward. It only helps in some situations and can hinder and hurt in others. Look at AI. Yeah. Think about the consequences of what we're fucking with.
Oh, no, we see it now. Jobs leaving.
Can we step out of the arms race and let other countries and stuff go forward with AI, even the big mistake that it is? Can we do anything to stop this progression now?
No, we can't afford to stop.
I don't. Did you just say should we allow other countries?
No, it's not allow. It's should we be like them? I mean, they're going to get ahead of us. We are either in the technology race or we're not.
Right.
If we're not, then we'll be conquered.
I think China is they've invested more time, money, and people in generally in technology than we have. Like they're I think they're ahead of us in the AI and the robotics.
Yeah, we're trying to catch up to the UAE and China. We're behind.
I want you all though to thank AI for what you're about to partake in. Yeah, get it, Trumpy. Is it racist to say that's like the black lady walk?
Well,
Nisha?
the guy that started this was not a black lady. He was a lady man.
Okay.
It's a gay guy that started that whole trend and that walk. And I'm just jealous that they can wear heels. My arch fell. I cannot wear heels that high. So I'm kind of jealous about that.
Sorry, Will. I'm sorry to do that to you.
It's so
to make you
unnatural.
watch that.
No, I mean I understand why people do it, but I would ask anyone that, like, when you're doing something like that, when you're putting that together, there's a lot of things you can go after Trump about, but being feminine is not one of them.
No. It was just that, like Nisha said, there was a meme going around about that walk and that specific. It was like it was one of those cringe things that kind of went viral. Like, they thought they were so cool walking like that in that weird way. They put the head down, and someone just thought, how funny would it be to stick Trump in there? So yeah.
So here's something else I noticed about our culture. This is slightly a sidestep away from the short there.
That's all right. That's fine.
The TikToking all your reactions and emotions about everything, and setting up a camera, starting a camera, getting in position, and then beginning your thing where you're distraught. So it's like this performative piece of society in this next generation where they don't understand that the legitimacy of their emotions evaporates the minute you put it in a TikTok video, and we know that you had to set up a camera. That's not a genuine reaction. You're faking it. And then you think about how many people are on TikTok doing the shit, and you're like, that's the problem with this coming generation. It's all performative. They have no soul.
And the reason we know that, because our generation, when we're upset about something, we shut the fuck down. We don't go on social media. We calm the fuck down. And then by the time we're back on social media, we ain't talking about that shit. Like, so this, okay, I'm getting upset. Oh, this is a perfect time to stream. What has happened to our society?
Someone tell me it's going to be all right is the thing. Someone tell me I'm right. I'm not bad. I'm not the one that made a mistake. I'm not responsible for this. Even though my boss is firing me because I've been late 38 days in a row, someone on the internet hear me crying and come to me and tell me that I'm the one in right and that they're the ones that did me wrong and make me feel good about me again. That's what they do. They don't have any internal foundational strength where they can say, I am what I am, and I'll do the best I can at what I do, and it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about it. This is my life. They have nothing that tethers them to that sort of sense of self.
There is a learned helplessness happening, and that's because of the technology, as opposed to my generation where we had a lot of time to be bored and to think.
In your day.
And then, Gen X, you had to actually, create or whatever to fill that boredom in. Well, no, I just pick up my phone and
watch this, Brojo, Mr. Generation X. This is you brought it to mind. Does Generation X care? I mean, typically Generation X. Does Generation X, are they seen as giving a fuck?
A lot less fucks. Yeah,
right. Okay. Exactly. Now that's the generation. This is subject A is Generation X. Okay. Now subject B is these other generations that are putting all of their personal shit online, trying to get people to care about it. I think there's the divide. Generation X is like, okay, fuck it. You don't care. I don't care. I don't need you to sign off on what I do. I'm not asking your permission. I don't care if you think what I'm doing is cool or retro or whether it's just garbage. Fine. This next generation, every single aspect of their life, from the hair product they're using to whether they cut their fingernails or whether they grow them long and decorate, all of these things are up for public scrutiny. They bring every decision to the council of idiots on the internet. There is no autonomy, and they depend on other people's validation, which is why I think people in Brojo and mine in our age group are just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you think we should care about that shit? Go to work. Stop crying.
Right.
Pull up your pants.
Because Gen X, if anything, has been about self-sufficiency because of the way we were raised.
Latchkey kids versus the micromanaging nanny state that they have now. See, we never worried about people watching us.
It's. Have you ever heard of helicopter moms?
Oh God, yes, the hover moms.
That's more of like what the generation. Well, okay, so there's a stage, right? There was helicopter moms, and then there was the moms that were just as glued to their phones as their kids, and handing their kids an iPad or handing them their phones instead of interacting with them or babysitting them. So like there was a small bit of overcompensation, right? Of like caring too much. And then there's like, they don't give a shit at all now, you know?
My mum wasn't glued to a phone because they didn't exist. She was glued to the soapies on TV. Yeah, go outside and play.
But I mean, at least the TV stays in one place and she has to walk away.
Go outside and play. Like,
but as a Gen Xer, as me, a Gen Xer, for example, Facebook has allowed me to connect with my family across the United States, my friends. So it's better than a phone. Actually, you know what? Maybe now that I think about it, maybe it's worse because I don't make the phone calls anymore to my family and friends. We're like on Facebook, hey, this is what we're doing. No, but nevertheless,
I think it's better because it's more consistent. You'll message them more than you would ring them. That's the honest truth.
That's one aspect I love about Facebook is mostly all my followers is family and friends. And
that's a positive aspect to the
it allows us to connect.
Connection. Exactly.
No, wait. You're saying Facebook though, and you're going, hey, it's a positive thing from technology. This is as far as hold on. I just want to point out, I was thinking about this the other day. This is as far as Generation X really feels comfortable going. Do you know how much of Generation X did not switch to Twitter, did not go to X or Rumble? They stayed in Facebook because we went through MySpace. Yeah, me too. Honestly, went through MySpace. Yep. That was fun. Moved to Facebook reluctantly.
I'm supposedly millennial.
Now I'm done with Facebook.
Just on the outside of X, I just was millennial, but I didn't have X.
I was scared of Facebook, dude. I was scared of the future. Yeah. Facebook was the future, and I didn't want it. I was scared of it. I was 2 years later getting it.
And the only reason why I have Instagram is because it's connected to my business.
That I won't talk to him on Facebook. It's like, because dude, I don't use it.
Yeah.
I use YouTube and GChat pretty much. Yeah.
And I have to have Instagram because of my business. It's a shopping cart, but I have to have some public space on the internet for business purposes. So I have to be public.
Same. Yeah, my company, we have the Facebook pages and all the Instagram and all that stuff. You have to.
Yeah. But
you're personally not on it. You're not active on those things personally because
you wouldn't even know I'm part of it. Yeah,
because it's a validation machine, and Generation X sort of missed that need. We did not develop the need to be validated by everyone because no one was watching us anyway. Yeah. We felt invisible, where they feel like they are in the spotlight constantly, and everyone is always watching them, and everyone always cares about their particular lives, like they're watching their favorite TV series, and we're just not people. Well, I hope people aren't watching each other like a TV series all the time. That's weird.
Well, we do Wild Heart like that.
Can I ask you all? Not a phone, right? Did you ever, at any point in your entire existence, turn a camera around and take a picture of yourself?
Down in my pants. In my pants once.
Well,
I did,
that's not what I'm talking about. Duck face, fucking.
Oh no, selfies were not a thing for us.
Didn't exist.
In fact,
Didn't
we were trying
exist.
to
No
avoid
such
cameras.
thing.
We were trying to avoid cameras because we didn't want to catch charges.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
We
were
didn't want to
like
be.
doing this.
And May said the 80s was the selfish generation.
80s. What? Describe the 80s in a different
80s.
way.
Weren't they saying that because people were desiring wealth and it was more of a materialistic time?
What-
Like for its time compared to like
that's-
70s?
It's because of that the Generation X were latchkey kids because the parents never really gave a shit about the kids. They were all about money, 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 money. And we didn't get love and affection as much as we got here's a toy, here's a trinket, here's a token of my affection since I'm too busy to show you.
Yeah. Here's
You know,
a
I
Sega
mean-
Master System 2. Stop fucking whining.
Happy 420.
Not everyone that sought wealth achieved wealth, you know, like just because they wanted it and were trying for it didn't mean they got it.
Mm.
I know that sounded like I was shitting on our parents, but I'm not. I mean, like, I don't think that
No,
They
shit
got-
all
they-
over him.
No, I don't think that they got a lot of supervision either. But there wasn't
Exactly.
it wasn't the same
We
kind of
should
danger.
shit on our grandparents too.
It wasn't the same kind of dangerous world that it is now. I mean, the world is dangerous, but like, look, I swear I did not know that it was a bad idea to let my kid fuck around with AI. But I am reaping. I'm not going to go into the story, but I am reaping the whirlwind for letting him do that. Because now he thinks that he can shape the world with his opinions,
No.
you know.
You're
AI.
spot on, Will. 20, 30 years ago, you could fucking backpack and what's the thing you stick your thumb out? Hitchhike. Try doing that in Australia now. You're gonna end up in a fucking suitcase in our bush somewhere.
Oh, that's funny you said that. When I was
It's called Uber.
when I was driving to Winnemucca a couple of weekends ago, there was actual signs saying no hitchhiking because there was a prison
It's illegal
nearby.
in Australia. It's
Okay,
illegal
there we
in
go.
Australia federally.
Yeah, because
like,
there's a
across
prison
the-
nearby. No hitchhiking allowed. I've never seen that in California. So I was like, wow, what is going on over here? There are prisoners escaping and hitchhiking?
Yes.
Never seen that.
Should
But
hitchhiking be
you're worried about the hitchhiker. We're worried about the guy that picks you up
Right.
because he gonna have some fun. He gonna take you out the bush. You got a pretty mouth.
I like your background, Sammy.
So, the angel and devil playing music
Yeah.
together. Yeah,
Love that shit.
Have a
Having a
bunch of
jam
cameras on the highways and streets there
in Australia.
That's everywhere.
in California? Yeah, I'm saying. I mean,
Oh, California. Yeah.
if you, yeah, I
We
mean,
do now,
Um,
but they're not there to stop the fucking serial killers. They're there to see if you're wearing your seatbelt or fucking are you holding a phone in your hand. Like they've installed these cameras so high up, like way up on these massive poles, highest thing I've ever seen for just a camera, right? But they're pointed down on the highway, on the freeway, and they put them about every fucking kilometer. So
Yeah,
and
I don't understand that quite here in California because
I'll tell you. It's so whenever there's an investigation or there's a report of a crime or anything else like that, their communications center can follow the person who did it or the suspect around and keep tabs on it and also record everything that they did so they can go back and retrace their. I mean, it's basically
Yeah.
just it's a way to have evidence of things that happen, you know, and be
Yeah.
able to track out that.
You get a letter in your number plate was detected by a such and such number plate detector, and it appears that your vehicle was out of registration
Registry, yeah.
at the time. It's like, what the fuck? Someone
No, we don't have
somewhere,
that.
some camera fucking Is what
Well,
like
but if
looking at number plates and shit.
They're trying to
Right.
do that here, but they don't have that in all our states.
We already have that here, bro.
But if I may,
I hate it.
You may.
I hate it.
this
You may.
idea, no, the hitchhiking question, it really is interesting because it just brings up, I wonder, should it be illegal? Because this is another right that we can be.
Okay, but like Nisha was saying, that was
One
within
of the
5 miles of a
preventative
prison.
things.
Yeah,
Oh,
within
Yes.
5. Yeah, so that's why it's illegal there.
But the point is that I'm now screwed. I can't rely on my neighbors to give me a lift.
Yeah.
Because I'm within 5 miles. Like, it's one of those preventative things. See? And here you are, bro Joe, sort of now on my side of the coin. Where preventative, is that okay? Like, should we be letting governments
bringing
give
up because I could
preventative
see it.
laws?
Like I could see preventing hitchhiking on like a highway, somewhere where you shouldn't be, like, it's kind of dangerous to be walking, but maybe on a road or something you should be able to hitchhike. Now I didn't know it was because it was within a few miles of a prison.
See, but
That
see,
bring
to
things-
me,
Well, because
you're
it's
arbitrary,
guardrails,
Brojo.
right? It's about guardrails again.
Yeah, I know. But exactly, you're saying, yeah, walk along a normal street, but not a highway. Why not just say no street? Don't walk on fucking roads. See what I mean? It feels to me like it's kind of cherry picking. I might be wrong.
Well, right now, I mean, it's already illegal to walk on an interstate. I don't think you're allowed to walk on an interstate. So you could be a danger, traffic's going, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. I hate how, I mean, free to travel. I like some people on the roads over here sometimes, because of their clothing and you're blending into the background, you're creating a danger to yourself. If you're going to be walking, I just make a suggestion. If you're going to be walking, don't have to be a law, but if you're going to be walking alongside the road, have like a vest on, reflective vest, something on.
That's fine, but see, like what we're talking about, preventative laws is like you must wear a vest, and that's why I know it sounds extreme when you take it to the extreme end of things, but it is kind of arbitrary and cherry picking when we say like, okay, you can walk on down this road, but not this road, or whatever it is, whatever arbitrary thing it is.
I think the other thing, and because there's this idea of freedom of travel, but then there's the idea of commerce along the highways, and that's a totally separate set of laws. Probably Hillary could speak to. Because the interstate is usually about that, right? It's commerce and.
But then there's people, I think, conflate, and maybe they're correct, but travel with the right to operate a vehicle on a public road.
As long as you're
not travel. You can walk, you can ride a horse or whatever, but there is like certain laws to operate a vehicle, so that doesn't really impede your travel. Get a bus, get a train. Like the point of that law is they can't stop you traveling, not that you can drive without a license. Maybe I'm wrong, but
it's pretty wild. You go around near like Amish County, Pennsylvania, which is a little bit more west than me. But though sometimes you see, it all depends. But yeah, they got all the horse and buggy signs up warning you that they're kind of impeding the travel of the cars. But
Yeah.
that's their right.
But legally, exactly.
That's
you
their
can
right.
drive a horse on the road.
So they slap some kind of reflector on the back or
whatever. Yeah,
But now,
bullshit
you have to fucking wait
legislation
for that.
we've added.
But some roads you're kind of warned. Yeah, you're warned that well, some buggies are gonna be around. You might not, So if you're in a rush,
Now, see, if we want to go with preventative laws, we'd say that's dangerous to vehicles, so let's outlaw it.
dangerous to the
Right.
horse.
Exactly. All sorts of things. So
Would it be a good thing or a bad thing if there was a massive EMP explosion that hit our entire Earth and set us back to the Stone Age technologically? Would that be a good thing or a bad thing for our species?
I mentioned that an hour ago.
the species, it would
Wow.
be a great thing.
You did?
Did you really?
Yep. Yeah.
Probably in the long run, it'd probably be a good thing. It'd be like
I must be stoned.
Yeah, when we were talking with House, you remember?
Remind me,
keep
I'm
going.
also a stoner.
I said if there was a coronal mass, the only way to take back all the technology and all the conveniences that we've had would be for there to be a coronal mass ejection that took out the internet, which would then kill off the people, and then
Okay,
we'd be set back.
See, I didn't know what the fuck you meant by corona. I didn't know that word or anything like that. I was just like, he's just saying smart things again. So I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that you meant the same as the EMP or whatever.
Yeah.
Or more or less just a wipeout of all technology down to the root.
Right.
I mean, at least a digital technology or something like that, right? Like, how far back do we?
Satellites, internet, all the way down to most electrical production.
Yeah. See, here's my dilemma, because I'm on board with all of that, except then in that sort of scenario, like some apocalyptic scenario without access to specific medicines, my son would be fucked. So it's horrid, it's probably going to sound horrible when I say this, but in some apocalyptic scenario, I would hope he died quickly and at the start, because
make no mistake that what we're talking about would be, at least for our species, almost near cataclysmic.
Yeah.
There would be a lot of people dying. There would be chaos. There would be a sacrifice to that.
Maybe even all us.
Right, but what we're talking about is whether it would preserve or re-strengthen our species as a whole for survival, because we are becoming weaklings.
Of course it would.
We're just timid weaklings decaying in our own cells.
We stopped evolution, if you believe in or natural selection.
Redirected evolution.
When we made glasses for blind people and devices that start. Hey, blind people got eaten by tigers because they couldn't see the tiger coming. It might be an oof, but that was
when you get down
happened,
to taking out glasses. When you get down to taking out glasses, you where do we stop? Fire? Do we have to go back to whenever we started rubbing sticks together? We really fucked everything up.
Well, then if you can't, then we'll stop. Why stop anywhere?
Okay, that's what the EMP was meant to listen.
Okay.
What does the EMP hit? What does an EMP hit?
It hits the machines that let you make glasses.
I'm not worried about listen.
Machines that let you test the eyeballs.
pretty
to know how to make glasses.
Listen.
So glasses are gone.
People made glasses before electricity, Sammy.
Yeah, but they weren't proper. They didn't.
Okay, you just want to be argumentative, and now an EMP
no, I don't.
There you go.
You're gonna have to improvise a lot.
No.
He just did it again. I said, you want to be argumentative. No, I don't. You want to argue about that too? Look at you. Go ahead, do it again.
Will, are you prescribing to the Thanos?
I'll stop speaking then. Is that what you would like?
No, don't pout. Don't pout. Listen, all I wanted to say is
I'm
the
not
reason that
pouting.
I
don't know
threw
what I'm supposed to do.
I just want you to hold on for a second. The reason that I said EMP, okay, is from Escape from LA. It was the end of the plot. Anyway, it knocks out all of the electronic technology, which basically sets all nations back to that point where you have to kind of rebuild that structure and get that back up again. But in the meantime, while it's down and everything, people return to having to live without that sort of stuff. Right. And I don't know, like what the ramifications of an EMP like that, how long it would take us to get everything back online and what we would salvage. But I imagine that a lot of the hard drives and everything would just be fried. That I guess optimally we would wipe out the internet. The internet would be, I think, if we could go back to that moment and wipe and stop progressing into the internet. And I know it wipes all of our friendships out. I get it. But I'm talking about for the sake of our species, we would go outside again.
And
we were outside. I don't think that's what we were doing before the internet anymore. No, certainly less than what we do now. We need to go outside. And yes, at first we would kill each other. You're right.
I do agree with that.
But that ends quickly because people begin toughening up and handling their business, and then you have a polite
and whoever's
society.
left is the point. Yeah. And they'd be outside again.
But don't worry. The Christians will be protected magically by God, and there's nothing to fear about that. So, I mean, he made it this way. He didn't want us to get the technology anyway. He warned against that shit, I'm sure. There's been like all those psychics or whatever they are, preachers warning about everything from the Social Security number onward as the mark of the beast. So one of them had to be onto something.
And that's kind of a good segue, actually, Nisha. As such a positive Christian, one of the most positive Christians I've ever met.
Nisha's not a Christian.
Really, well, I don't know what to call you, Nisha.
It's okay. Will has to come up. God, let me get away from this guy. Will has to come up with a better name for me anyway.
I'm working on it. I heard
it's on you, Will.
You got one. Queen of Melchizedek, right?
Say that again.
Say it again.
Queen of Melchizedek.
I like that.
Melchizedek.
Queen.
But okay, well then you have to remind me about
Bride of Christ,
Melchizedek and stuff.
Does that just mean Bride of Christ?
Yeah, the new priesthood. Yeah.
Queen of Melchizedek would be Bride of Christ. Almost just with a few words swapped out.
Well, I like Melchizedek. I like Queen because I am the queen of my household. But yeah,
where did you put your microphone? Did you sit on it?
Did you? Yeah. Did you insert it somewhere?
It's like you're talking to a butt cheek.
Remove
there she is.
your
She's
microphone. Back. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm outside. Yeah. So you heard my request. So yeah. I like the title Hillary's email came up with, but then Will has to come up with some theological title for what I am.
You're some sort of mystic. I don't know. You've just scrambled a bunch of different things together into a souffle to a casserole of religion. It's wild. You've trimmed things you don't like and added in things you thought should go there. And I'm all for it. I'm like, hey, if they're bullshitting, you go ahead with it. They're all bullshitting. You're doing what you can with what they gave you.
Okay. Fair enough.
Remember we were talking about the size of armies and stuff. We agreed that they bullshitted.
He complimented or insulted Nisha or confused?
Should be a little of both. I sprinkled some both in there.
Yeah, he did, but it's okay. I'll take it as a compliment.
Look, I look at you as at least breaking away from the constraints of fundamentalism and doing your own thing, which shows some autonomy. And you definitely are willing to critically think more than the fundamentalists and all you. I appreciate that. It's just it gets weird because of all the other things you're trying to pull into your belief system to kind of hold on to that original Christian root. I mean, the more you'll examine the Bible, you the more, and if you look at it honestly, we're reaching to make it fit all these things about even about the messianic prophecies about Jesus and all that. We're reaching because we want something to be true. We want to believe that somebody has met the big man.
Right? Well, I understand what's weird for you is that I'm still believing in this Sky Daddy,
yes,
as you would call it.
No, just that specific Sky Daddy.
Okay. And that's the weird part. Well, yes, I don't consider him the one in the book. I treat the book as stories, and I read them as stories, and then I pick those stories apart. But I still
I'm asking you, why do you connect it the book at all to the reality of whatever the gods or God is?
If the book is all in like, forgive me, Will, I might rephrase it. If the book is just a story, where did you even learn about God from? If not the book, which is just stories. See the confusion?
Years ago, and I had to learn a lesson about my personal testimony, and I had to learn that people will never accept my personal testimony, and they will pick it apart because experience is experience. So if I go to school to become a machinist and my neighbor is not a machinist, so he doesn't understand because he doesn't have the experience of a machinist, I do understand that mechanical part in this whole thing. But before I even got involved in Bible reading or Bible stories, I had the experience. I got the call, as we would say. I got the call, and I couldn't explain it. There's always been these things that's been going on in my life, and they are my personal experiences that I've had with a supernatural. I was brought in based on personal experiences, and like I said, I've learned that you can't really share those online because people, one, don't believe it, and two, they'll pick it apart, and three, they will shame you for having those personal experiences. Now, does that necessarily mean I believe other people's personal experiences? Well, not quite. Like there's some, like Eric mentioned, that I'm like, yeah, that sounds kind of loony. So, but those are allegedly his personal experiences, and I cannot come into belief based off Eric's personal experience. It's my personal experience that brought me into it. And so therefore, I do feel a connection. I do know that there are realms, and that if you take in consideration how the ant looks at the world and how the ant does not have a full scope of the world, then you can understand how it's possible we don't have a full scope of these other dimensions. Is that kind of making sense?
I was going to say, did that answer the question, Will? But he left.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, it's my personal experiences with my creator or a creator. But there is something you can look up if you guys take the time and look up Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he explains the ant point of view and how you can have these different dimensions that we are not aware of. So he goes into that, and he uses in one of the illustrations the ant and how the ant experiences reality. Yeah.
that he gave. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do believe we have different realms, and I do believe that we are limited with our minds and how we experience those realms. We are the ant,
Yeah.
because I think he said the ant sees in 2 dimension, but we see in 3 dimensional. But then he
Right.
says there's like a 4th and 5th dimension,
Yeah.
and I believe
And
I've
so
tapped
to a
into
fourth
those.
dimensional, fifth dimensional being, we wouldn't even really perceive them. We could be on their toe, but
Mm-hmm.
we think it's the whole world. But yeah,
Right.
I'm
And I believe
exaggerating,
I
but
tapped
yeah.
into that 4th or 5th dimension at times, certain times in my life. And so that's why I said,
Okay.
yeah. So to me, it's kind of math. It's kind of like math, like the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And if you look at how the artist, I forgot his name, I think his first name starts with John, how John drew out the Tesseract and how it became like this cross
Yep.
is really interesting. But it to me, it boils down to a little bit of math. There's math mixed in there. And so that's how I can
Sounds like
explain.
Hillary's knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the artist's name, but I know the Tesseract that she's talking about, how it's up high, and then there's one on top, then there's the central one, then there's one coming off of each of the 4 sides, and then there's like the 3 beneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. So yeah, we are the ant.
But do you think the ant ever understands the human?
No, no. Because remember, I don't even think their conscience, their conscience is different. Like
Right.
their world evolves around this colony and
Yeah. But what about in
preservation.
heaven? Because the idea is that in heaven, the ant will understand the human, or the human will finally understand God.
Well, where I
And
was going
that's
was
the analogy.
I was going
So,
the direction of the Gnostic texts of you may be worshiping something that may be a monster.
But what would
yeah.
make it a monster and to
Well,
us?
if there's fire ants in my yard, because I used the same analogy more than 30 years ago about the ants. So if there's fire ants out in my yard, I don't care if they're worshiping me. If I get bitten, I'm going to pour poison down their hole. And then they're realizing all the horrible devastation that's happening in their colony. And they're thinking, but we're worshiping. Why is all this horrible things happening? Because I don't care about worship. I just don't want to get bitten.
Is there a video? Can you find 420, Sammy? A
Yeah.
video of the ant and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Well, what he
I'm
talks
just looking
about
there.
is it going around the balloon and how it's a 2-dimensional being and everything that you're saying. But the one that I'm talking about was way before he came up with that. I was telling people, but just imagine a fire ant in your yard. Even
Yeah.
before it bites you, it can bite you. So you're going to poison it. And even though it's worshiping what it thinks the human is, the human's going to poison it because we don't care about worship. And then that's when the idea of Cthulhu comes in. If Nerdy Roden wants to talk about that, is the actual God maybe this monster who doesn't care anything about humans, and we can be worshiping it all that we want, and it just comes and wipes us out.
Would this, in that analogy, would this being be intelligent?
Ultimately, no. It's a blind, idiotic, destructive being.
Okay. And but I would consider something in that category highly intelligent enough to know that these
I
ants
mean,
bite.
it could be intelligent, but does it have the specific intelligence required for whatever is a different question.
Yeah, and there's an
Mhm.
intermediate step between the blind, destructive being and the ant. And so then that's when the idea of Jesus comes in. He's the mediator between the two.
Mhm. Yeah.
He's the Ant-Man.
He's the ant whisperer.
So I'm alone, and I, I don't care if people say, "Oh, that's Gnosticism." That's just willful ignorance to me when people just yell out. That's like the same as saying
No, I'm
witch.
promoting it. I'm
Yeah.
promoting it as Gnostic. Yeah.
Yeah. So if even if, and I know certain Christians don't understand this. Hold on, somebody's at my door. Oh, hey Zeta. So
Yeah.
even if Christians don't understand, they still dabble in that theory because their God would have to be omnipresent, omnipotent. And so that they're still dabbling in the basic fundamentals of a fourth or fifth dimensional creature or being. I don't want to say
Yep.
creature, but being. But if you word it the way I'm wording it, it will be Gnosticism or heresy. But they're saying it, but they're using the language they've been told to use that is acceptable within their religion. I'm saying I'm using the same language, but I'm not following the code of linguistics. Boy, you changed quick. What are you, like Superman or something?
Who?
My daughter, she just came in and she walked by. She changed clothes that fast.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, what? Wow. I guess so, huh?
She must be a man.
No, she said that's the perks of being an actor. She
Oh, okay.
graduated from college, so
There
she
you go.
has, yeah. So they have to change clothes really fast, and
Costume change.
yeah. Did you find a video? I have to go anyway in like 8 minutes.
Oh. Remind me what I was the ant thing with Neil
Well,
deGrasse.
even
Yeah.
if you don't find the ant, because Hillary's email already saw that Neil deGrasse has other videos on fourth and fifth dimension that are pretty interesting. So I hope that answered Will's question, that it doesn't, to me, necessarily has to be the God of the Bible, but I do believe that there is something or forces we cannot comprehend based on my own personal experiences, and that I do have this same belief of something outside of our time, something outside of our normal, what we can pick up with cameras or eyes or visions or whatever. And to me, it's pretty normal.
Why that picture?
Why? What picture?
The one your avatar.
I kind of like it. It's like mysterious, like People are scared of like death. Death is a part of life. I mean, I am scared of it, of course, but I think if we embrace it more, it wouldn't be as scary. And I'm trying to because like I'm a farmer. So I it's part of agriculture. Death and life. To me is I see what becomes of death, and I see how I put a seed in the ground like a dead body, and then I put a little tomb over it and I say, hey, here lies peace, and then something grows from that. Every year my grapevines look dead. They die, and then I'm like, guys, this look horrible. And then come springtime, you see the little blossoms, and then now I have grapes, and the circle just continues. But
But
yeah,
doesn't Christianity say that you as a human are different from all of that? Because when you die, you actually go somewhere. You're still conscious, still aware,
uh,
right?
it depends on which Christian you speak to. I personally adhere to the body goes back into the ground and the spirit goes back to whence it came. Wherever whence is, that is the
Okay, then what's heaven?
nobody. Okay, so there's a few heavens mentioned in scriptures. We have the one where the birds and the planes and stuff, that's one. And then there's this other heaven that probably would fall into the category of maybe one of those fourth or fifth dimensions that we cannot comprehend. So nobody has ever really came back and said, this is what I saw outside of a vision that someone had. Like Paul elusively, he's speaking of himself, but he's saying, I know a man that was caught up. So he's gone into this full blown vision, and he tells you what he saw in this vision. And then there's this other story, I believe, where John goes into another full blown vision and he tells you what he saw. I have had those experiences where I've had full blown visions, but not like Paul or John. So I do stay in the safe area and say I don't have absolute knowledge on what heaven is. I just understand the one heaven, which is where the birds are, and then the planes, the stratosphere, but not anything above that. Because I don't consider space heaven, because everything in space is pretty much dead. I do consider like planets. If you want to categorize planets and stars as some other life form that we're just not willing to say, hey, this is a different type of life form,
Mm-hmm.
and that
And
space is
I was just going to say, and I do. I consider stars to be a different life form.
yeah. And then space is like this sea, and then these are actual sea creatures, but we are just not willing to go there and say, hey, because they go, if any, if you want to say stars die, then you have to say they're living. And so they take certain things and say, oh, we've discovered life. And then it's like bacteria or some type of um, amoebas that they find and say, oh, this is life. But if you want to classify planets or stars as something that can die, then you also have to say they're living. So I feel okay with saying like space is the sea and that these things are sea creatures because we're on literally a boat. Earth is a spaceship traveling through space. So, I mean, it gets really deep. So I don't consider space heaven. I consider it a kind of sea, and we're just traveling through it. And I think it's foolish for anyone to make absolutes on what happens to dead people. Like Ace Tio, he has this idea and absolute statements on what happens to dead people. And then he says, heaven doesn't really exist, and the Bible doesn't mention heaven. So, at least with me, you're gonna get an honest answer of I don't know, or along those lines. I'm never gonna make an absolute statement on I know what happens or what is, because we're all just trying to figure this out.
You were a bit muffled there for a second.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta go, guys. I will catch you later.
All right, catch you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Nisha.
I'm still getting adjusted to Brojo having this avatar because, like, I see it and I'm like, where did Brojo go?
I know I haven't seen this avatar for ages, Brojo.
Yeah, the web, injury web. I'll be a little bit more personal. Good morning.
There he is.
Yeah.
Nice and warm where you are, Brojo.
Yeah. It's comfortable. Cloudy. 70s.
That is very comfortable. It's hot where Nerdy and I are. Nerdy keeps complaining even during the nighttime how hot it is, but they don't have air conditioning over there.
Oh, I think that's going to change over the next 10 years.
Yeah. And realistically, you can get a window. Well, I don't know about in the UK, but in America, you can get a window air conditioner pretty cheap, and that's really all that you need for the summertime.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to head back to sleep. I only got a few hours this morning, so I'm going to head back to sleep. I'll catch y'all later.
No worries.
Good night.
What are we? We're about to hit 3:20. Yeah, I might call it quits too. Are you gonna go live at any point, Brojo?
Probably not.
You can't.
Didn't plan on it. Well, I can't with this channel. With my channel, yeah, I can't with this channel till Monday. But I don't know. I like to get a couple of things done before doing that. If I'm going to do a hang,
Yeah.
I've kind of used up my hangout time right now.
It's all gone.
Go get some sleep.
Yeah.
I may be around here. I don't know.
Keep those notifications going.
Yes. Subscribe, like, all that shit. And it often pays to unsubscribe and resubscribe. When I stop getting notifications from you, that I'll do that, and I'll find that I start getting notifications again. So, like, why the algorithm thinks I've stopped wanting them, I don't know, but hey, that's the
You know
algorithm.
that this time yesterday, it was around the 3-hour mark. It was me and you again. You were about to close down the hang, but I forgot who came in. Kept the hang going, and you stayed another 8 or 9 hours.
God. I know. I was meant to get sleep because I needed to get up that this morning.
Body needs that rest. All right, close down before somebody comes in.
Before someone comes in. All right.
All
right. Thank you all for coming. Drop it. Hey, drop it's out there. And thanks, Sterling, for showing up. All right, peeps. Have a good night. Love you all. Be kind to each other and be kind to yourselves.